If you've ever waited for the day where one stock will determine the market and the Fed, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We are here for NVIDIA earnings. Let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Is Ryan on today? Is the Pope Catholic? Did the sun come out? Then the answer is yes, we are on. Ryan's not here by himself, though. Ryan's here with 13. We had to wait out Zunaid's interview there. I understand we're a little bit truncated, but don't worry. We'll go ahead and break this down like a fraction for you, and we'll get you all set for the market here. So 13, how are you doing, man? How was your evening?
Oh, my evening was just fine. I was looking forward to seeing what NVIDIA is going to give us this afternoon.
Are you ready? Are you ready for for the report here today? We just need to get movie announcer voice in here. All right, let's go ahead.
In the market, where there's one stock can determine everything.
In the market. Yeah. No. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY here. We're still doing the whole chop thing, right? Really nothing has changed from yesterday in terms of any of these levels. All of the levels that we are looking for or that we have been looking at are still in play. Oh, we'll see where we end up going here. Did you have anything new on the SPY?
No, it's just been in a holding pattern since NVIDIA earnings. It looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a weakness because of some SMCI not filing their 10K. We'll get into that in a second. But for now, just looks like it's going to be more waiting for that NVIDIA report unless we get some significant news ahead of that.
Yep. And we did have some earnings reports this morning, which we'll go ahead and take a look at. Chewy is one of those. Don't worry. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. I do want to run through the movers here real quick. Thankfully, this is actually lining up pretty well. There's not a whole lot here today. So once we take care of some of these, we'll go ahead and start talking about SMCI and some of the other moves. First one here is going to be BSLK. This is Bolt Projects Holdings. This is a stock I've never pulled up or traded before. I believe this was a SPAC, it looks like, 13 from what we were kind of doing. It looks like it's kind of de-SPAC'd here. But this morning, stock's up 102% off that $2 level, currently at 420 here, VWAP at 448. I was looking through the news feed here, 13 with you this morning. It looks like we've got some passive stakes taken in this company. What did you see here on BSLK?
Yeah, there's some multiple passive stakes, even an active stake from last Wednesday that was taken in this company. So after this de-SPACing, which is the process where SPAC will, after its merger, will start to unwind. You'll start to see different things like redemptions happen. It seems like this is about where investors believe this is the time to buy. It looks like it got down right to $2 yesterday, and that's as low as it went. Now we're starting to turn around. Investors are taking positions in this. Company doesn't appear to have cash on the balance sheet, but there's not a whole lot of data to really determine what's going on with this company financially. I'd have to look through some more of those filings in order to determine that. But it does appear to have a 7.63 million share float. So this is going to be able to be moved around pretty easily. This is not something that I would ever think that would be a good idea to just buy and hold in hopes that we start to continue this recovery. SPACs can be very finicky. So, and this is, I shouldn't call it a SPAC anymore because it did merge. But this is just going to be a day trading vehicle until we start to see some revenue come in, some quarters that actually show what the health of the company is looking like.
Okay, really good stuff there. Really quick here, need to address Lion Atlas saying that we're 13 minutes late.
You are fake news.
No, we are not actually. We had to wait for Zunaid's interview to finish, and we went right here. I'm already 2 cups deep, Lion, so don't you worry about that. We're going to have a good day here. Next on the list is going to be ticker BOF. This is Branch Out Food. This actually just started running near the end of the pre-market here. Branch Out Food shares are trading higher after the company reported year-over-year increase in its H1 revenue results. The stock was a penny stock yesterday, moving into dollar territory. We're actually a little bit extended away from the VWAP, which is down here at 97 cents. Ticker BOF. You got anything on this one?
Didn't really cover this one. I just have a concern that it's going to fall back under $1 again, at which point it'll probably see a lot of shorts come in. But for the purpose of the show, let's just talk about maybe doing some quick trades. It does have a float of 5.2 million shares, so easy to move around. The earnings report news is great, so that's going to definitely help lift it. But I don't have any levels. I didn't really cover this one. I'm just a little bit concerned that it's just going to fall back under $1. So if it provides trades, if it provides setups, we'll take it. If not, then we're just going to move on to some of these other ones that we're going to be talking about here.
All right, sounds good. Born, good morning. It's good to see you. Don't forget, we've got a draft tomorrow, 15 minutes after happy hour ends. Assuming that you can make it. I think I already confirmed with you. All right, next here is going to be VRAX. Stop me if you've heard this stock before. VRAX. VRAX Biolabs shares are trading higher after the company announced a distribution agreement to commercialize the Mpox virus RT-PCR detection kits in Europe and the Middle East. That's causing VRAX to pop here on significant volume. We moved from about 450 up here to 650 where we found some resistance. So far, though, we're doing well to hold above the VWAP here at 602. So 6 really looks to be one of the bottom side levels on this one. You got anything else here on VRAX? We should be pretty familiar with this one.
We know what this is, and we know that this is what the type of news we were kind of waiting for with this one, because we were talking about, I don't remember if it was on live trading or happy hour or what, but we were talking about how VRAX is one of those companies that's well positioned for distribution, this one in COSM. So we having said that, this isn't too surprising of a move. It's just, as soon as the headline comes across, the market goes wild, algos drive it up. That's what's happening here. So we already knew everything. That we kind of had an idea that this, might get some more attention. It's just that it's, pretty outsized attention, 28%. And that's a pretty big move. But if it provides setups and it's going to give us some good trades, let's do it.
We'll see. We've traded this one before, so we should have a pretty decent feel about it. We'll see what we can get done here today. Next is going to be JBDI. This popped in the after hours yesterday, popped again here in the pre-market, although we're coming back down and settling in near yesterday's intraday high here, JBDI. We'll see if this gives us a trade. We are $2 extended from the VWAP, so even a move back towards the VWAP would be good for this one. I had some SEC forms here last night. We haven't really gone through these. These were after the bell here. 13, you have any idea what's going on here in JBDI? Understand if you don't. It's no big deal.
I didn't cover this one, but it looks like it's
neither.
like a recent IPO. Like I think it was IPO yesterday, actually. So it had a pretty good run during the day and in after hours. We're starting to come back.
I'm so sorry. Jay Wild mentioned this yesterday. I am so sorry. I've completely forgot that. I should have led with that. This was the one he mentioned during this. There were multiple halts right at the beginning of the day.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. Awesome. Wow. Huge brain fart there. Sorry, Jay Wild, if you're out there. Props. You had called this one yesterday when it started moving.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot on this one, but I'll say that because it's a new IPO and it had a big day. It seems that we're headed down for the moment. But yesterday it did give us some pretty big volume. It's not relative volume because it's first day trading, but it was a pretty big volume day, I would say, and for the company. And we're just going to see how I would just say watch how it trades today, because I really don't have a read on this. I didn't even cover it, but it does have a 4 million share float, so it's gonna be volatile.
One more thing here, Michael. Good morning. JBDI, not JDBI. JBDI. This did open at 5 yesterday. You know what this kind of reminds me of is that Roma IPO that Crow absolutely smashed on like day 1 or day 2. Maybe it was even a 3-day run, but then it really, really kind of sold off. Kind of reminds me of that. We'll see what happens here with JBDI, new issue from yesterday. Next one here is going to be PETA. This is Haramba Electric. This spiked as high as 360, really got rejected there, came all the way back down. So far, it's holding 240 here. Was PETA one of the ones that you covered here? Looks like we had some news yesterday morning, but really seemed to be getting a reaction here today.
Yeah, they got an e-mobile contract in Seattle. They actually do electric public transportation, like I think buses, trains, things of that nature, like trams and whatnot. I didn't have a whole lot on this company because it's still pretty new, but it does appear that the float is low, like 2.5 million shares. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot. Looking at their financials, which is not very, doesn't have very much robust information. It seems like they're going to be needing cash. So we'll see how that goes. I don't have anything beyond that other than this is just a electric tram or public transportation company that builds trams and buses and things of that nature, and it's all electric. And they just got a contract.
Okay, one more thing to add. Funky here might buy it just for the name because it's so close to Harambe, so you might get that.
Wallets out for Harambe.
Here today. Okay. Next year is going to be APDN. This is actually one that we're extremely familiar with from recently. No fresh news on this one. Looks like we're just kind of getting a technical move here. We moved off that 240 level. We are above the VWAP. I really want to see volume flow into this name 13. Unless you have something here, I don't really think there's much to cover. This is one we're really familiar with.
So just like with VRAX and all those other trades that involve monkeypox, so we've talked those other three that we usually look at: GOVX, this one, VRAX, and there's one other one I can't think of. But anyway, those all kind of move. COSM. Those all kind of move. Whenever one of them does, they kind of all get a lift. You look at GOVX, that one's up almost 3.5%. So I think this is just kind of a bit of a relationship trade with the whole VRAX distribution agreement.
Okay. Real good stuff there. Momentous is up. We've kind of traded that one, and then Chewy, we'll go ahead and cover that. Let's move over here and take a look at that. I'm going to start with SMCI just because this is probably the biggest news here of the morning. You can see SMCI. First of all, yesterday we had the short report. I thought that the guys on Pre-Market Prep did a wonderful job breaking down short reports, how they've worked, et cetera, et cetera. They did mention Globe Life, which of course was ridiculous, sold down to like a 50 handle and is now above 100. Lion Atlas, by the way, that was the other thing I meant. You were trying to call me out for being late here. I was actually shouting you out in Pre-Market Prep for your awesome trade, and you weren't there. So nobody believed me. So that's on you, buddy. All jokes aside, that you absolutely murdered that trade. All jokes aside, but anyway, with SMCI yesterday, the interesting part here is that after the short report, we got bought almost all the way back up to even. Now, this morning, I actually had a trade plan here. I was thinking, okay, well, this is either going to continue or this might kind of roll over and test that downside level that we put in after that short report was released. We were really not able to go green. So while we retraced a majority of this move, we never actually went green. Now, it was leaking a little bit in the after hours. It was down a little bit lower here in the pre-market, but the knife down here that actually took us below 500 was because they are delaying their annual report. They will delay its Form 10K filing here. You never like to hear that. Now, the short report accused this company of cooking the books, and now they're delaying their report. I don't know. That to me, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like some pretty bad timing, frankly.
You never want to see a filing delayed, especially in a company that's as big as this one. Now it may be for good reason, and they're going to file file that I guess that extension on the 30th. But as I said, it's never a good thing at any time when a company has to delay a filing of financial performance.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Really quickly, I'll get you back in here, but real quickly, the funniest thing that I've read so far today, albeit it's early, from one of my trader friends who I actually consider a mentor, said, quote, saw a lot of buying the dip on SMCI yesterday. They have a new dip to buy. That is exactly the case here. So we'll see what happens here with SMCI. Get back in there. I didn't mean to run you over.
Well, I just wanted to address a question that Dr. Manred had asked. AVAV, any news? This is actually up almost 9%. It looks like it went higher earlier this morning on news of analyst upgrades. So Baird and Albemic Global both upgraded to outperform and overweight respectively. 220 was Baird's price target, and 216 was Alembic's. I pronounced that wrong the first time. So this is currently at 193. This is like the drone play right now, in my opinion.
The best in breed for drones, absolutely.
Yeah, they make those switchblade drones. We've talked about this ever since the invasion of Ukraine, and this has just been one of those stocks that's been absolutely doing phenomenal. They have earnings coming up in 7 days, so this could be another run up into earnings as well. They're currently looks like they're not making all-time highs, but they're getting pretty close. I think the all-time high in this, let me just get you that figure, is actually 224. So we're not too far away from all-time highs.
So nice little move there on AVAV. One of the other ones that I know we like to talk about here a lot, as Chewy. They reported earnings here this morning, up about 1.5% here on the backs of those earnings. It's doing a really good job kind of holding the 50-day here. If we take a look on the inside or the intraday chart, I am going to look to kind of trade this one. I'm basically going to look for this bottom support level versus the top resistance level, see if it breaks and then retests it and gives us a really clean entry. That's kind of what I'm looking at here on Chewy. Did you have anything on Chewy that you wanted to cover?
So for me, when I was looking at the earnings report, being that they're guiding kind of in line with the consensus, and their earnings were they were decent. I mean, they did miss on their sales slightly, but the earnings were still pretty decent in my opinion. I think that this company's probably at a valuation right now that may stick. Like you might just see it chop around around this area, maybe in the mid to low 20s or maybe the mid to high 20s, but I think for now, this is about where it could settle until we get some other catalyst that drives it up further. That's kind of what I'm getting from that guide that they had.
There we go on Chewy. Really good stuff there. Was there anything else that you folks want to cover? We got less than 3 minutes here, but happy to go around. I think we hit it all.
So I'll just do a couple of real quick. Thinking about it, saying RCAT for drone plays. Yes, I agree. I actually traded that based off of thinking about its suggestion when it was popping last week. So appreciate that. And yes, RCAT is also another drone play. I think it's just that AVAV is a more robust drone play. I think they're maybe the better one. Not trying to discount RCAT, but I think AVAV just is more involved right now. And then Funky mentioning ASTS announcing that they will be redeeming all 12 million public warrants. And that's the reason for the drop in ASTS today.
Okay. Tom asking, what did Anne-Marie come up with the butterfly for NVIDIA? Tom, that tells me two things. We didn't watch Anne-Marie's segment yesterday, and you're not a Benzinga Pro member. I'm just kidding about that. Let me go ahead and give that to you. First of all, I actually thank God for Zunaid, who asked me yesterday to clip the screenshot for him. So I actually have it here. I'll go ahead and read it to you here in a sec. But first, what I'll do is I will display the trade. Now, here's what Anne-Marie said. This was a double butterfly real quick. I understand this might be difficult to see. You should really get pro. It'll be easier to see. But here is the upside butterfly. She did have a downside one. I'll go ahead and read it to you here in a sec. If you're bullish on NVIDIA and you think this is going to trade up, your upside butterfly here, 69-cent debit. It's the 150, 160, 170 strikes in the October expiry. We're about to open, though. Let's go ahead and get that done. I do want to remind you the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above that 25K day trading threshold or simply need more dry powder to trade, Trade the Pool could be your answer. Let's go ahead and get it, folks. Stay green hat. Let's have a great day. Oh, I was hoping the bell was going to go just as I said that.
You just have to say it a little bit slower.
Just a little bit. See, Lion, I did have plenty of coffee. Here we go. We're open.
All right. So, BSLK, I'm expecting that one to just kind of fall.
Lion, the short report, they were basically saying that they were cooking their books, but this is something that they've said for a while. I'm not sure how much new stuff was actually in that.
VRAX trying to push up to 655. That's the next upside target. Okay. We have a pre-market high of 648. So if we go through that, my next upside target is going to be up at 740.
SMCI's first move here was down. I want to check in on Chewy because I actually had a range set for that. Just kind of want to see where it's at. Okay, so it broke, going for the top end of that range here on Chewy. Let's see if we break out from 27 to, yeah, we did. Let's see if we back test. Looks like we're stopping at the top end of that range here. 27.25, it looks like. See if Chewy comes back in and goes higher. Sorry, go ahead.
No choice. SMCI trying to recover. Currently at a low, has a low of 479.66, trying to recapture VWAP.
Lion, you were saying that you were going to look very closely for entry here to the long side on SMCI. Let me know. Anyone else trading SMCI today would love to hear what your trade plan is for this. APDN getting mentioned here in the chat. Good morning, Wiss. APDN might pop away that pre-market high that it had. Chewy just raged. See if it comes back in and tests that 27.25, giving us a crispy entry there.
Like APDN's trying, yeah, like you said, trying to push up to that 267 high. in pre-market.
SPY's higher here. Q's higher here. Dow higher here. Oh, excuse me. Q's about flat. Okay, Chewy continuing to rip here. Boy, did not get that entry there. Probably should have just bought the bottom of that channel. That's okay, though. We can still wait that out. It's early. No reason to force this early. SMCI still hunting for a bottom.
Yep. And BSLK also going lower. Might stop this selling around 365. We'll have to see if that's the case. PETA trying to push up to 290. I have VWAP just slightly above that at 293, 294, but 290 is the level that I have for upside since we're beneath it now. Still trying to work its way through the 65 EMA on the 5-minute.
JBDI halted here. Market Sniper with an early call on that one. Halted right at the VWAP. Let's see where this goes from here. CHWY. Nice. We still ripping here on Chewy. I'd love for this to come back into 27.25.
Here we go with APDN. This is now above the pre-market high. 270 is the current high.
Okay, I'm going to check in on that while we're waiting Chewy out here. That did pop that Gratz Wiss. I know you're on this early. Let's check in on VRAX, which looked like that was going to go. That also testing that pre-market. Boy, it sure looks like VRAX wants to go higher, does it? Here we go. Well, all I had to do was talk about it. Look at that. Higher we go. VRAX popping here.
Okay, so broke through that 655. Now has a high of 670. Next upside target to be 740.
Really good stuff there. No entry on VRAX as I'm a little bit late there. Didn't necessarily want to buy those upside breaks anyway. Come on, Chewy. Let's see if you can come back into this 27.25 and hold it.
At this point, getting into VRAX would be a bit like chasing. That's a little bit risky. Be careful if you're going to do that. Now up at 7. PETA is still having trouble getting above the 65 EMA on the 5 minutes. SMCI still going lower. APDN, that's taken off now. That means that GOVX might be making some moves as well. Sure enough,
actually might put an order out here for, well, I want to see if it holds this 27.25 first. That's my issue. But I kind of do want to put a starter order out here.
GOVX is ripping along with these MPOX names. 644 is the current pre-market high for GOVX. We're almost there.
Let's see if we hold this right here.
VRAX is suspended, also known as halted.
Okay, Chewy coming into that VWAP right there.
Fairchild mentioning Lockheed Martin. Take a look at that.
I'm gonna really breaking down. I'm gonna try some here at 27. Try a starter entry here. See if I get it. Might have been a little too slow there. Let's see if I get filled here. 27 bucks. I
love Lockheed Martin. I own them, but man, is this thing extended? And it looks like it's going to extend further, trying to break this recent high that it made on August 15th of 564.
Chewy went right down to where I had my order, but didn't fill me. Doesn't look like enough stock traded there, and now it's bouncing. That was exactly what I was hoping to catch there. No fill. Order still sitting out here. Ah, damn. Damn, might have been a little too conservative with that, trying to go for 27. Probably should have gone for 27.15.
Folks, SMCI is still going. Now, if we continue this path downward, I'm going to be looking for some support around the 500-day SMA, which I currently have at 370. Yeah, 370, which is pretty far away. May not get down there, but at the rate this is going, I'm not going to say it's impossible.
So 370 is your spot there. Still waiting on Chewy here. I'm going to leave my order out there and see if we come back in.
Yeah, and now we have the MPOX stocks. The MPOX stocks. We have the MPOX stocks with a little bit of a pullback now while VRAX is suspended. I keep saying suspended because that's what shows up on my broker. It's either suspended or halted. It's halted. But that's halted right now. So once that unhalts, maybe we see these other MPOX names start to go back up again. So that's going to be something I'm looking for.
Really quick here. I'm actually going to cancel this order here on Chewy. That was a pretty decent bounce at 27. I couldn't get filled, so I actually needed to be a little bit more aggressive there. Not going to give up on this name, though. We're going to come back here. Just simply didn't get a fill. Plan worked out. JWM, this is Nordstrom's. This is also reporting earnings yesterday. This actually came all the way back in and went red, although so far it's doing a good job holding green here, JWN. AVAV, which we just talked about, that's going higher here.
Exploding. That's what
Jay's Life looking at TSM. What are you looking at here, Jay? 160. What is this? That 200 day is at 200 day. That 50 days at 170.69. Current price here 171. So we're holding above it. How's Astus? I see a few of you talking about Astus here today. That's continuing to come back in. Boy, that went too far, too fast, didn't it?
Shaka, you're kind of right about there not being a lot of volume or no volume in AVAV. It's just, the average volume for it is 333,000 shares traded daily, and we're already at half that. So it's going to kind of be like relative to the stock, and I think the volume in this one is pretty good given how this trades. It's just not going to be like the hundreds of thousands or millions of shares we're used to seeing with some of these other names. But it is having some good movement. Sorry.
Well, it's okay. Wald getting called here by WIS. Looks like this is running here. I don't see entry here. What was that other one? BOF right at its VWAP, or it was. Let's see where it's at now. Okay, it broke beneath the VWAP. We definitely want that to firm up here. Let's check in on Chewy. Oh man, it just kept going higher. That was the right plan here. That trade plan worked out again. Just did not get filled. It even traded at 27 and didn't fill me. Bummer.
Is Robert around today? I'd like to direct his attention towards PDD.
Which one? Which Robert?
The one that I believe had. I think Robert had puts on PDD.
Yeah, he had put. Yeah, that was Bond. He had puts through PDD earnings here, continuing to plunge.
My goodness. Yeah. Hey, if anybody knows anything about Temu, this is why I would not ever touch this stock, because that is such a garbage company.
OSS ripping here. That was not one on our list here this morning. OSS right to 3 on that impulse move. Chewy above 28. Man, oh man, that's gonna be. Can't get mad though. Didn't get filled. Had it right.
Also getting a mention with Baba. That's down. It's down like 1%. But it's another. I don't know what's going on with Baba. I don't know why it's down. There might be some news. Not that I could see. Maybe real quick with PDD. Sorry.
No. Paul is on. Good morning. It's great to see you again. Mentioning SMT. This also, SMTC. This also reported earnings last night. We actually checked this one out in the happy hour. This moved higher in the after hours, although it looks like it's filling the gap on the way back in here. This is Semtech. I don't follow this one. I'm not entirely. I don't really have a good line on this one. Thus, I don't really have a trade plan for this one.
VRAX open.
Let's also, Paul is on. Let's check on your GCI. Okay, so yesterday we were unable to take out the previous day's intraday high, and look, a little bit lower now. My next question is, where's the buy zone for this? Paul is on. Where do we try to catch a bounce here if this is just a pullback before trying to take out that resistance? All right, VRAX here, 13.
VRAX higher. Open higher. 733 is a current high. We're looking for 740. At the same time, we're also seeing some weakness in GOVX. That just absolutely did a reverse and went back to where that green candle started. APDN actually now going higher and ripping higher. Actually, 290 is the current high, trying to push more. Same thing with VRAX. There's 740 on the dot. Perfect. Let's see if we get some more movement. If we keep going, which we are at 750 now, 820 is the next upside target I have for VRAX.
APDN spot here at 3 if it can go through it.
Funky, that's actually what Lunar's waiting for. We should be hearing about the NASA contracts. I think there's going to be 2 of them they're going to get between now and the end of next month. So yeah, that's really all that's coming up next for them. They don't have another launch until October of 2025.
SMCI here, maybe finding a bottom here about 450. What was your level again? 13.
370.
370. Okay, ways away from that level here on SMCI. This definitely bouncing here. Looks like the low print on this candle, 439. Bit nice little bounce here. 467 is your VWAP, current price 456. SMCI bouncing. Lion, let me know if you're just kind of scalping that. My worry here is that this is a little bit of a fake out, just kind of like a dead cat bounce, maybe trying to draw people in, saying the bottom's in here. I want to see if this confirms. Really, if this gets back to VWAP and maybe crosses through it, that might be something. SMCI.
There's some discussion on this in the happy hour chat about the bottom being even lower than 370, closer to 200 to 350 because of the consolidation from the past. That's created a demand zone. So down there, I think, is where the discussion is happening about the bottoming in SMCI.
Oh man, Abercrombie and Fitch, ticker ANF. This was another one I kind of had. Look at this, man. These earnings setups here were on it. I was just moving around too much. Abercrombie and Fitch, right before the open, dove beneath the level that we had, came right back up, tested it, and straight up rejected. Lower we go here. Man, missed 2 trades that I had setups here for. Do you see a bottom on ANF? Okay, so we're currently at 141. I gotta think that 138.5 here, the bottom end of that previous gap that we filled, might find some support. This also lines up pretty nicely with previous resistance levels. Let's call it 140, actually. Let's call that level 140.
I'd like it better at the 200-day SMA.
And that's 127. So those would be your 2 levels to the downside here, I think, on Abercrombie and Fitch. That's been a really, really hot stock. Shout out to Jay Rice for mentioning that one for a long time here. Here's VRAX. Looks like this is pulling back. Would love to see a pullback down to the VWAP, wouldn't we?
Sure. Anything that gives us a good entry to make a trade. Absolutely. I'm here for it.
I know I can always count on you, 13.
Look at this. I think this is something we traded yesterday or talked about yesterday. HAIN. This is up.
Yeah, it was
almost 9%.
Yeah,
Hain gain, right? Yeah.
Hain gain. BSLK here. Watch this if it moves through 4 here. 375. What's that?
Tries to recapture 4 is what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm actually going to take 100 here. Let's see if it comes back in. We can add. I want to see this move to and through 4. 442 is going to be your VWAP, so a pretty decent range there to the VWAP if it tries to cross 4 here and go.
I think you might get your wish on VRAX. Still looking like it could come down. There is some orders out at 7 to buy, so there might be some support at 7 as well. Hain going higher. PETA, this thing is just, I bet it is the pain in the ass that it is. PETA.
SMCI looks like that 446 so far is holding here, Lion, but I'd be nimble with this one. Be nimble with this one.
Yeah, Funky, we were watching on earnings, and it started to, I think it was rising before the earnings print, and then it dropped on the earnings print, and then I believe it recovered. Let me double check and see if that's what happened, because there was some wild price action in the
VRAX might be bouncing here.
Okay, so it had it started rising ahead of the earnings. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it started rising ahead of the earnings print. Earnings came out, it dropped, and then it recovered, and it went higher after hours. And now we're just kind of almost. It pretty much ended the after hours trading session almost pretty close to where the day ended. So we are getting some wild price action right now, going up to 26.60 and down to 24.25, and now it's just kind of back where it was yesterday. VRAX
here is kind of flagging here. This actually might take off here. Up. Let me go back to BSLK. We're going down to a support level here. See if we hold this. If we break clean and move beneath here, we'll cut this. Otherwise, if we can hold this, this might be a spot for an ad. I was watching VRAX there. I had to pull it off the screen here. Lumen, by the way, I know that had a really rough day yesterday. Lumen's trying to go higher here.
Yeah, I think there was some kind of news about its network. Anyway, BSLK. This still looks like it's headed lower.
Yep.
Might not see some support until 365.
Support level that I'm looking at here is going to be 375. I want to see what happens there. Don't necessarily want to put the stop order out since this is reduced position size, because yesterday when I did that, I actually got flushed out on one of these and then it ended up working. By the way, that was Trib. So I got flushed out on the first trade, but that second trade that I was holding open till the close of the show, we were able to make everything back, clawed it back on that. So I was happy about that.
APDN with a bit of a knife there. Looks like the MPOX trade is starting to wind a little bit.
That broke it beneath its VWAP 2 here. APDN looks like it's still hunting for a bottom.
Yeah, VRAX is looking a little red here, but still above its VWAP. It's targeting it. It looks like it wants to go down to it. So we'll see if that's what happens. GOBX, this is not able to get back above its VWAP after that big knife back through it. So seeing some weakness in this MPOX trade. We are going lower in SPY.
Yeah, that's rolling over here. Same with the Qs. Qs on the lows, by the way. Those 440 handle by SMCI. Mike here saying SMCI is going to flush here, 440.
I could see that.
Me too. I'm okay just kind of waiting this SMCI out. I don't need to be a hero here early, especially if I get flushed on BSLK on my first trade of the day. Vox, maybe taking out that high is a good call here, Christoph. Good mention here. We'll see if this has some power to go through that intraday high here. JWN, this is one of your earnings plays. JWN, this has looked so far, or it looked good so far. Geez, come on, Ryan, you gotta have all parts of the sentence there.
Yeah, but when you have enough coffee, it just kind of filters out which words it doesn't think it needs.
I see what you did there.
Article adjectives? No, don't need any of those.
Nope.
BSLK coming down to that.
BSLK, here we go. Okay.
365.
All right, so let's see if we hold it here. 360's got some size. This is probably my last line in the sand here. We'll see if it holds this 360 area.
Mm-hmm.
We get any type of bounce back. Otherwise, this is just going to have to be a cut. We'll start out 0 for 1 here today. They're bringing in bids. Those bids are getting hit, though.
Well, you're looking at that. Just going to take a look around, see what everything else is doing. I think SMCI about to lose it here, about to go lower. The loss of 440 will indicate that for us.
Okay.
And there it goes.
Naveal saying a big drop below 362 on BSLK and then it can recover. That would really suck for my first trade here, but if that's the way that it goes, that's the way that it goes. This is why we take starters instead of going full in. BOF lost that dollar handle. Walled 455. Wow, look at the size offer here on BSLK.
Vox still holding above VWAP. As long as that holds above VWAP, it might be able to take out 5 again. APDN still beneath VWAP.
I'm going to add another 100 shares here on BSLK, and I'm actually...
You're actually...
Yes, I'm still paying attention here and watching. I'm going to have a stop below the 362 area here. I do see some more size there at 360. They're actually hitting this 365. I think this is going to break and flush. We'll see what it does here at 360. Maybe this can bounce.
Oh, thanks. Thinking about it, I hadn't seen that next mission. I thought their next mission was not until October of 25.
Jay mentioning that Chewy is hotting here. That was the trade setup of the day. Just didn't get filled. Was out there on the order, just didn't get filled. Jay Wild, good to see you this morning. Your JBDI making some moves here today. BSLK. Let's see if we can hold this area and bounce. If not, we just got to cut this piece of junk.
VRAX trying to go higher here after giving a test of the VWAP. And there goes VOXX, starting to try to push, going above 5, trying to push higher.
VRAX, nice bounce off the VWAP here. Here's VOXX, trying to break that top.
Yep, 509 is the current intraday high. I'm going to go take a look at, so VRAX also trying to move up here, trying to get a lift up to 720 and higher.
Comp trading PDD. So comp trying to catch that knife there on PDD. Yes, okay, man, this is just not doing anything.
Those SPACs. I mean, at least it's getting support from that 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That's what at least you know, I was trading this. That's what I'd want to see. And sure enough, I mean, it's already given 6 cents, which is not too substantial, but for the purpose of the bounce trade there, it's working out.
Yeah, I mean, any type of bounce from this area here, we're probably going to be okay.
VRAX coming in a little bit, coming back down to test that VWAP. SMCI still going lower. I was just thinking that SMCI 430 here.
Jay Rice saying for PDD day 3 here, so worth a shot. That's kind of what I was wondering there. Couldn't get it out though, Jay.
Yeah, and to your point about PDD with the gap fill, that's we're so close to that. All it has to do is just lose 89.50.
All right, BSLK, it's trying to bounce. Come on, give it to us, BSLK. Let our patience pay off here.
If it continues to go up, I think you're going to see some resistance around 4, maybe slightly earlier.
Yeah, that was the goal, was to see a move through 4 on just kind of a resistance break there. That should have probably given us a pop here. I don't know, though. We'll see if we get it. So far, so good. At least the ad has been good here. We'll see if we get any type of move just to kind of get out of this thing. We do have Tim Melvin coming up here in just a few minutes, folks. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. We got Tim Melvin. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Tyson at the highs.
He's going to talk some sense into us and just make us feel better about what we're doing.
I'm actually embarrassed. I'm trading this piece of junk in front of him, to be quite honest with you. I know he's not a trader. He's an investor, but man.
I mean, look, it got down to that 200 EMA and it reversed. That I think that so far was the best you could get out of this SPAC. I don't know how much higher this is going to go. I don't know what's your entry.
I have dollar cost average down to 381. So we're just right beneath it. Really, kind of any pop here, if it takes out that 390 level, which is the level we were looking at earlier, that could be decent. Really, if it loses this 362 though, we're just going to move on.
All right, here we go with VRAX trying to take another shot at breaking over 740 again.
720 might be that level that sends it.
And Vox is megaphoning. So they're
Vox VOXX.
Yeah. So if this, it's the concern here is that it's kind of trying to stay above VWAP. But if this pattern resolves correctly, it should break out over 509. SMCI got a low of 430 and 60 cents. Looks like it's about to take that out as well. Ooh, man.
Yeah, SMCI. That's looking rough here. That's looking rough here. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to Tim here. Let's go ahead and bring Tim on. Tim, happy Wednesday. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing great, guys. First day of school. Spent the morning so far drinking coffee and looking at pictures of the world's greatest, most prettiest little granddaughter in the entire planet in her little school uniform, going off to the first day of first grade. So I'm in a really good mood.
Awesome.
So listen, Vox is an old Tim Melvin stock. Okay.
VOXX?
Yes.
Just to be
Oh my
clear?
God. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
They make audio electronics for cars, and they make, the remote starters, and they do home theater systems. All right. Now, this company's been around forever. Dad controlled it for years and years and years. He just stepped down. You got to understand, this thing trades at 40% a book. You could straight up liquidate the company at a profit. Okay. We've owned it before, and it kind of got into play back in 2018. It went from 4 to over 20, obviously pulled back down. Dad retired last week, stepped down.
Ah.
Son is now chairman. What is the first thing that the son does? Well, if it's me, I install a wet bar and a nice TV in the office. The second thing that you do when you have a company this cheap and your dad just gave you the cars, right? It's worth probably twice at a minimum the stock price in a sale, right? It's a profitable business. Car electronics, car audio systems, car interfaces, security systems. They've got a new biometric division. There's value to this company. So what's the first thing that you do? You call your sales team in and give them a pep team and get them out there pushing these great? Hell no. You call an investment banking firm and you put the firm up for sale. And that's what they did this morning. They announced strategic alternatives. They brought in an investment banker, Brian Cave, I believe. Bye-bye. It's going to go out. It's going to go out at a price higher than this, most likely.
Hey, so there you go. Tim, really appreciate it. Did not think that one of the small priced movers that we were kind of actively trading here was going to be one that you were familiar with, but no surprise, Tim Melvin coming in and dropping the knowledge on us. Tim, that's awesome.
I'm full of surprises, and I got some others for the more quantitatively inclined amongst us that trade a bit. I spend most of my time not goofing off as everybody thinks. I do a fair amount of that. I can't lie, but
I was going to say, come on now.
I spend most of my time doing research, and we research everything. Yes, I am dyed-in-the-wool deep value guy, but that's because that's really where the data takes us most of the time. However, I read an interesting report that I wanted to share with you guys.
Okay.
It turns out that there's two anomalies in the market that almost nobody's tracking. And I ran across this paper, and it's fascinating. One, for years, there was an overnight effect to the U.S. stock market, and there's still a small one, but there was a big one. Right, for like 15 years, all of the return of the stock market was made overnight.
Yep. All the buying was done in the overnight session. You
actually exceed. Well, it had to do with earnings anomalies and other stuff on the open the next morning. But if you bought the close and sold the open, you actually earned a higher than market rate of return. And of course, your capital was only employed for part of the day. Now, the academics identified that. The guys on TV talked about it. Mm-hmm. So it's not what it was, right? It's still kind of there. There's still a profit, but it's not the 100% of the market's return that it used to be. But now there's a market where you can get twice the return of the market. Okay. High yield for the last several years has been, it's maybe a 3-4% market over the last decade. You can earn 8.5 buying the close, selling the open. There is a pronounced overnight impact to the high yield market using the HYG ETF. And it's not the world's most illiquid market. So news and announcements tends to have a pronounced effect on it. So there's got a ratings upgrade in play and a whole bunch of other stuff. But there is now this effect that if you buy the close and sell the open in HYG, there's about an 8.5% positive rate of return.
Okay.
Now, what's cool about that, boys and girls, is your money is never tied up, right? Because everybody will give you immediate credit on the sale. Nobody actually makes you wait the T+1. Usually your capital is available to you the minute you close the trade. Your money's only tied up overnight. You got to do whatever the hell else you want to the rest of the day. And you can add, you're never going to add a lot. It's 8.5% a year. You're going to add a quarter here, a nickel here, 50 cents there in the overnights. But since you have frictionless commission-free trading, you can actually use that if you're so inclined. If you start using it, always keep testing it. Make sure it's not disappearing or fading. And if you turn on CNBC and they're talking about it, stop doing it.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty good warning there. I've actually never heard that. So that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that with us, Tim.
There's another one. I bought all kinds of presents for you guys today. So buckle up.
That's what I wanted to hear.
This is going to be fun. Okay. There's also a lunchtime effect that has come to light. Now, this actually we all knew this one back in the as far back as the 80s, right? You sold lunch and you bought the afternoon because everybody went out to lunch. So that everybody on the floor would go flat. They'd go out, have a couple martinis and a steak, come back, and they'd put their positions back on. And it wasn't as easy to trade because there were no ETFs or instant indexes or things that you could do back then that you can do today. Now, here's the lunch effect. This works. It adds about 6% a year. So these are teeny tiny incremental gains that you can do with capital, but you're going to buy at noon and close that trade at 2 o'clock.
What's the ticker?
SPY. This is the stock market.
Sorry. My fault.
Yeah. So there's a lunchtime effect to the overall stock market. And so you buy at 12, you close at 2, and you're, with that portion of your capital, you're done for the day.
Actually, this worked perfectly yesterday, Tim. Now that I'm looking at the intraday chart, that worked perfectly.
The win rate's pretty high in order to get a positive rate of return. And these are just little incremental quantitative things that you can do. If you're a really super experienced trader, you can figure out some ways to add leverage to it and other things. But the game has changed a lot. So some of the qualitative, hey, that looks really cool, I'm going to trade that because there was a good story, doesn't work as well as it used to. I mean, Nate Silver in his new book has a great story about, and his relates to poker, but it relates to the markets and the game changing. Years ago, if you knew odds, pot odds, and math, right, you could dominate a poker game.
Oh yeah, David Sklansky wrote multiple books on that.
Yeah, no, Sklansky and of course Doyle Brunson's book is the absolute best one. And by the way, I used Sklansky's strategy a few times. Before I got married again, I played a lot. Where you just you had 3 hands, you went all in a tournament, and if you didn't go all in, you folded. That was like free money in the $10 and $20 sit and goes back in the day when you could play those, and so the prize was not big money. It was maybe a couple $100, but you would consistently win. But anyway, those days are gone because poker is now dominated by game theory. And if you just try to play tight, aggressive, based on pot odds, the game theory guy is going to clean your clock every time. And I think we've seen some of that in the market. So a little more quantitative is probably going to be more successful than quantitative. So by the way, Silver's new book, On the Edge, you got to buy it. It's fantastic. Okay. He gives one great story that I want to share with you guys because it teaches you to think in probability. He takes a lot of guff because in 2016, his 538 election prediction platform, what he's best known for, said Trump only had a 29% chance of winning. Now, that the day of the election, it said that. Now, Trump won, so everybody's like, ha, you're a fool. He said, no, I made more money than you could possibly believe on that. It's like, what do you mean? When he made the prediction, 29%, totally mathematical, in the betting markets, you could buy Trump for 17 cents. That's a 6-to-1 payoff. Well, if you got a 6-to-1 payout and a 30% chance of winning, you should put 20% of your bankroll on that every time you see that opportunity. That has a massive positive expected value. So although Trump wasn't predicted to be the big winner, which he turned out to be, the bet was mispriced.
Interesting. Okay.
And trust me, read the book. It's fun. It's entertaining. Silver's a pretty good writer. If you have strong political opinions, you'll probably disagree with him, so ignore those. But it's a very good read. And he uses gambling. He uses Spaceball. My heart. And
you're actually not the first person that I've heard that say that the books from him are great. So that's kind of confirming something that I've already heard. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this one really is written to it's written for people, not guys with math degrees.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, couple things that we did. We set up some screens, and I just went back, and these are quick and dirty 5-year back tests. But if you just limit your universe to the very best stocks, and we're going to define very best stocks by, if you've heard of the Piotrowski F score, and The F score is 9 different fundamental things: return on assets, improvements in return on assets, cash flow, balance sheet, liquidity, measures the health and prospects of a corporation. So we're going to limit our universe to just those with perfect scores. 9.
Okay.
That's it. We're only going to own the very best companies at any given time based on fundamentals. If we do that, right, over the last 5 years, we crushed the S&P 500.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay. Now, here's where it starts to get kind of cool, because if we just buy those with the 10 largest caps, we really start to crush the S&P 500. Now, if we take that and we take the full universe and we only buy those that have a 5-day RSI and hold them for a month, we have a massive positive expectation as a trader. So, and again, what makes this so cool is you're limiting your universe to only the very best stocks.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
Now, we've gone back naturally because it's me. We've gone back and we've added some filters, and this is one of the things, Ryan, that we're talking about doing.
We're bringing this to pro. That's right.
We're bringing this to pro, but we're going to take this universe of best stocks, right? Perfect fundamentals. Sales are growing, profits are growing, profit margins are expanding. They're not issuing new stock. They're paying back debt. Just everything that you would want. Describe your perfect company. These companies fit it at this moment in time. Now we're going to go out to some professors and we're going to add some momentum filters. In this case, we're going to use Gary Antonacci's dual momentum and apply it to individual stocks. Guys, you just absolutely slaughter the S&P 500. You want to own the 10 strongest stocks, the 10 highest momentum of the perfect stocks. And it's crazy because you don't own what you think you're going to own, right? Right now, it's like TJX companies, Westing Airhouse Brakes, NRG Energy and Midstream Partners, Louisiana Pacific, which is a timber company, Ollie's Bargain Outlets. People are bargain shopping, and
they sure are.
Okay. American Public Education, which I've given on this broadcast before, and somebody put in the chat that they just didn't like that stock. They would never buy that thing. It's gone from 6 to 16 since we had this conversation.
Which stock?
American Public Education. And sorry, it's 12 to 16 really. But the stock has gone from a bottom of about 5 to 16 over the last year. It's for-profit online, primarily education with some nursing schools, but they're growing. Business is great and institutions are buying. Under that scenario, I don't care if they're selling video copies of the Communist Manifesto. The business is great and the stock is going up. I'm going to buy some.
What was the ticker on that?
APEI.
APEI.
So yeah, and we had the back test numbers here for you. Let me just take a look at, it's, let me get to the exact numbers because it's like 21% a year. I mean, you're crushing the market just using these larger cap stocks. Yeah. 22 point something percent, just owning these 10 best in class stocks that also have positive momentum, that are beating the market and have positive price momentum over the last 52 weeks. So just simple strategies like this. And, I can hear half the audience going, oh, hell, I'm just a trader, man. I don't care about this stuff. Start redefining your universe to these companies that just fit these parameters. You already have a strong upside bias. So now apply your trade setups. You've increased your probability exponentially. And it's all about probability and payoff.
Okay.
So now I got one more thing for you, and this gets back into Tim's wheelhouse a little bit more. I know I'm taking all your time this morning, but that's okay.
Yeah, if you're bringing presents, we're good. We're good.
The best thing you can do, and we're all individual investors here. None of us, I don't believe, are running billion-dollar portfolios. If you are, I question what you're doing on this call. But if you're running, $50, $100, $200,000, the single best strategy that you can implement, and this crushes the market. I mean, this isn't even close. Since 2000, when you think about everything that's gone on since 2000, the stock market rate of return with dividends is about 7% compounded since then. You had a decade where you didn't make a damn dime. You've had 50% crashes. You had COVID. It hasn't been fun. It's been a tough time to be a longer term investor.
Yeah.
However, if you just bought, and this is my favorite thing to do, by the way, if you just bought companies trading for less than liquidation value, okay, and that's a pure kind of rational calculation that we use, and you have to be ruthless about this, right? You're buying deeply undervalued stuff. Almost everything that you buy, you're going to say, what am I doing buying this garbage? And it is, in some cases, garbage. But we've also fundamentally filtered, so there's but zero risk of bankruptcy. We eliminate all that. Every month, you're going to replace anything where the fundamentals have slipped at all, where the credit has deteriorated even a teeny tiny bit, or it now trades over the liquidation value. So you're going to have about a 20% turnover ratio each and every month in this thing. Compounded annual rate of return, almost 25 years, is 30.8% a year.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Money do tend to pile up at that rate.
Yeah, it does.
Now, here's the cool part. Your maximum drawdown is less than the S&P 500 over that 24.5-year period. So the maximum drawdown in the S&P 500 during all this was 56%. This had about a 50%. So it's not dramatic, but it's there. There's not a lot of beta to the strategy. It's almost entirely alpha.
Okay. And it seems fairly easy to execute. You don't really have to be very active in order to do that.
You do not have to be very active.
Amazing.
But look, you are going to buy a lot of stuff that you never heard of, that you like, you're going to feel like you've lost your mind buying it, right? And you are going to buy small stuff. Okay, now you and I are institutions. We can buy, not institutions. I'm sorry. Some of us should be institutionalized, but we're not institutions.
That's another discussion.
But I mean, I'll just give you an example. This is one of my favorite stocks actually right now. Oil States International, OIS is the symbol. Now these guys do oil services, and onshore and offshore. The offshore business is just in the early stages of what's going to be a massively long recovery. I mean, 4 years ago, half the industry went bankrupt, and they're all just now emerging. But oil and gas demand is going to remain high. We're not spending enough searching for oil and gas, especially outside the continental United States. So that's going to be an issue, which means onshore, especially international, is going to play a bigger role. Okay. So this is going to be a growth driver for this company. Remember, this thing's ridiculously undervalued. You look at it on an earnings, a cash flow, any basis that you want to look at it, this is a crazy cheap stock. And we're not playing it for a month or a year or anything else. It's trading at half a book value. I think of free cash flow currently, maybe 7 times free cash flow. They're using cash to buy back stock. They're buying back their old convertible debt at a steep discount. There's a kicker here. Okay. I'm taking a little longer term view on this because they have a division that has a submersible that does subsea mining of the ocean floor. This is going in natural resources. 25 years from now, subsea mining of the ocean floor will be the single biggest industry because of rare earth minerals.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if that had a rare earth component to it. That makes a lot of sense.
They're all on the bottom of the ocean, apparently, those that are not under contract to China. So,
sorry, Tim, to interrupt you, but I was curious if you had heard about the new one that was recently discovered. I think it's called Sheep Creek. That U.S. I'm trying to think of the company name, but it's in Montana. It's a new site that recently was discovered, and it's got a lot of rare earth minerals and gallium.
No, the one I knew was Idaho Strategic Resources, and I'm not sure. I don't know if they're a player in that one. Maybe that is them.
I'll get you some more information. Sorry to interrupt you, though.
No, that's okay, because Idaho Strategic Resources is a straight up, they're a gold mine. But they also, and they're doing very well in the gold mining business, They do symbols ISR stocks, great momentum stock in here. They have a rather robust rare earths and strategic minerals business.
You said ISR?
IDR, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
IDR.
Yeah, U.S. Critical Materials explores Sheep Creek. So that's a new Southwest Montana rare earth project.
Are they making money?
This is very new, so I would say absolutely not.
Yeah, I will not. Here, rule of thumb: I don't care what they're mining. If they're still in the permitting processes, I ain't buying.
Gotcha.
Okay, because and again, we're back to probability. It's a coin flip because of environmental, because of government, because of regulatory. No matter what. I mean, look at some of the lithium mines. We desperately need lithium, and they're still holding them up. Yeah, across the United States. So, if they really have what we hope they have in these mines, and when they finally get the permit, and they finally start digging, and they're producing cash, the stock may double, even triple from here to there. But if they're really producing strategic minerals in size, it's going to 10x from there. And by the way, my probability's gone from way down here to way up here. See that? See the finger thing there? We got that going on.
I was just telling my coworkers how hilarious you can be, Tim. So that's fitting.
So a lot of the companies that you're buying, like when I look at the list for companies that are being liquidated, they're not pretty companies. They're steel companies. Vera Bradley, the retailer, Stratec Security Corporation, which, you get excited. Security, that's a big word, right? That's online. No, they make locks for trucks and toolboxes, but they're selling a lot of them. There's the founder of the MRI. His company is on there. So these are not the world's most exciting companies, but they're super cheap. They have strong balance sheets. They are profitable. Business is in good shape. They pass a credit test. So one whiff of good news, and it does exactly because VRAX qualified on this screen not that long ago. One whiff of good news, and it does exactly what you're seeing VRAX do today.
Interesting. Okay.
So there you have it. You've got the best of the best, the Piotrowski F score, 9s only. You beat the market. You have a massive positive expectation. You can add your technical filters to it and become, I think, a more effective trader, because when you narrow your universe and you're not chasing tickers all over the screen, you get to know more about the money flows in and out of a particular stock. So I think that the more narrow you make your universe, this applies especially to swing trading, the more effective you're going to be. But then if you really are serious and you're willing to put the work in and live with some of the wild swings and volatility that you're going to see, and owning some companies that are not going to excite anybody that they're going to laugh at you for owning them. But you will laugh at them last, because you can make a ton of money trading stocks that are at steep discounts to liquidation value and still have good fundamentals.
That is awesome. All right, Tim.
So that's all I have for you today. I got nothing else. You've bled me dry.
That's okay. That was plenty.
Recuperate for next week.
Yeah, recuperate for next week. Exactly. Thinking about it here is ask Tim what he uses to do his stock scanning and filtering. What platform? It's going to be Benzinga Pro. Thinking about it. So stay tuned. We're going to bring Tim on. We're going to actually go through some of this stuff as soon as we get it all together. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. And a lot of what I use is databases that we've built over time, and a lot of it's proprietary. But we're going to be bringing, in a very short period of time, Ryan and I are working together real hard on this. And it's interrupted my goofing off time too, so I'm a little mad at Ryan right now.
But we're going to have the last laugh in the end, so it's okay.
We are going to be building in filters and screens of a lot of the ideas that we're going to be talking about. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing some more ideas of some of the things that we're going to be bringing. And let us know if you've got something. Hey, I want to know about stocks that do this. I can test that out for you, and I can come back and say this is the greatest idea ever. However, probabilities again, 97% chance I'm going to come back and tell you that is pure garbage, because that's what happens to me. I kill 95% of my best ideas every day. So anyway, but all of this is coming to Benzinga Pro in very short order. So. Yeah.
All right, Tim, that is awesome. Really, really appreciate it. Once again, on a Wednesday, you did not disappoint with the picks and the jokes. So multiple points for you. Have a good one. As 13 said, recuperate, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
No problem. Take care. That is Tim Melvin. There you go. I don't know about you, 13, but I was absolutely shocked that he had insight on one of the movers that we were trading here today. That is really, really good timing. Really quickly here, BSLK. I have to go back up and shout out Motion. Hang on a sec, Motion. I know that interview was a little longer here. I know I did see that you were talking about this earlier.
Thank you.
BSLK is a big boom. I'm coming. I'm catching up here real quick. BSLK was a great call, around 10% on the trade. We had that nice little curl back up to the VWAP. We've since broken down. I know Smoke Tuna's not here to call it done for the day. We'll see if we get another one. 13, what else did I miss while we were doing that?
Well, Tim was talking, and I saw BSLK getting up to 4. I was hitting you up on Slack, like, this is where you probably want to get out. This is it. This is what you're. I
didn't even see it.
I was worried. I was worried. So I was like, oh God, Ryan, if you're not paying attention, This is the time. But
Ryan was paying attention.
So I'm glad that worked out, because I was seeing that and I was like, oh, this is where it's going to be done. So,
well, I'll tell you something, 13. I'm glad that worked out too, because what didn't work out today was my order exactly at 27 on Chewy that did not get filled. Jay Rice, shout out to you. I know you've been talking about Chewy since 24 in the pre-market. I know. I had an order sitting out there at 27 when the price printed 27. I didn't get filled. Look at this thing, 29, almost 29 and a half now on Chewy. This would have been a great day trade off this setup that we had outlined here from the beginning. Man.
And a lot of the MPOX plays are all selling off. They're just
Jay has earned his register ring. Jay, keep trimming that for gains. Really good stuff there on the Chewy trade.
Yeah, Bob Ralston, to short a stock, you have to have the company has to have shares available, and that's going to be from institutions, other traders, and whatnot. So if there's not enough shares available to borrow to short, then you're not going to get a fill.
Yeah, and one of the other things is you'll often hear or see people talking about locating shorts. They're actually looking to see if there are shares available to short there. Oh, Jonathan Cooper, we got a call here. BSLK, do we have another trade setting up on BSLK? You're calling the bottom here 3. Oh, this is not the right ticker. Come on now. You're calling the bottom here 334 on BSLK. I have a low print intraday here 339.
I could see it going a little bit lower than that. We have the pre-market low of 321. It could definitely go to where he said.
Thinking about it real quickly here, he mentioned it. He uses a whole bunch of different databases and information that he has. We're going to streamline this so it's easy for a front-end user on Benzinga Pro to use some of these filters. We're also going to include predefined scans that match his criteria when we have all of these additions done. So again, that stuff is coming here. He has a kind of I want to call it proprietary way. I'm not even sure if that's the right word though, but we're adopting that here in Pro. So like I said, sit tight. We're about to make it easier for you to grab some of these long-term positions.
And he and other folks that have been doing this for a long time. I've talked to some of them, and they do keep a robust database of their own personal trades and their own personal performance, and how seasonality has affected their trades. So if they've been doing this for a while and they've been collecting that data for themselves and creating their own spreadsheets and whatnot, they're going to have a lot better things to look at than some of these platforms can even offer, because it's so personalized to what they've been doing. And
he had mentioned a whole bunch of different variables that he uses, like the Petrovsky F-score, and wanting to make sure that some of these companies that he's finding really don't have bankruptcy risks. So we're going to go through all that. We're also going to have education. I'm looking forward. I mean, you guys can already see this. I'm looking forward to actually shooting some of the education with Tim, partly because he's brilliant, but also because he's hilarious. 13, I'm going to step away here for 1 sec. I noticed that ASST was getting a whole bunch of mentions during the Tim interview here. I do see this was a huge move here. I wasn't on this. Nice little volume expansion through the VWAP. Give me a sec, though, 13. I'll be
sure. Yeah, so ASST, this one has a current high, intraday high of 295, and it is looking like it's trying to set up to go higher. These wicks from earlier in the morning, I'd be looking at those for support, if not their VWAP then. And then we'll have to see if we get that break over 3. After that, what else are we looking at? BFC has gone from under 12 to 18 since they poached Lulu. VFC. What is? I don't know anything about VFC, but I see that they have a golden cross that occurred earlier this month, not that long ago. Looks like they're trying to go for 20. Wish I knew more about that company. What else you guys got that you're looking at? BOF. Let's see what that's doing. Also looks like ASST did that drop and now it's trying to recover. Maybe it goes here. BOF, branch out food. So this is moving. Hello. This is moving on a year-over-year increase in its first half revenue.
Pulling back to its VWAP right now.
Yeah. Surge is 640% first half, poised for continued growth and debt elimination by Q4 2025. So this could end up being much, this could be good right now if you're going to hold to the long term. But with that kind of, future headline, could be really good. There we go. ASST. There it is. Breakout over 3.
Okay. BOF down here at VWAP. Here is your ASST.
We were just talking about how ASST could come back down to those wicks from this morning as far down as VWAP. We got pretty much right in that area, and then it turned around and broke over 3. So that was a nice little setup. It was quite dandy.
LASE, Jay Wild on this one. Looks like this did break out of that 386. I don't remember when I drew these lines on. They're obviously still here. I can't remember when that was from.
Well, if I take a look at my daily chart, I bet I could pinpoint it. Maybe back in April when it had the last big move.
Emiliola, Ryan and 13, are you guys playing NVIDIA earnings today? Emiliola, I have no position as of right now, but I am thinking about putting on either one or both of the butterflies that Anne-Marie outlined for NVIDIA. I'd like to have defined risk ahead of that print. Well, I think they're going to beat their numbers. I'm just not sure how the market's actually going to react to it. So, and those options, if you're just, either buying stock or buying those options, there's a little too much risk. So I'm going to may try and use one of Anne-Marie's butterflies, but so far I have no position.
I don't have any of the stock directly. I just own it through ETFs. That's it.
SMCI, okay.
And I'm not playing it specifically for that. It's because it's these ETFs hold other stuff too.
SMCI here. This looks like this bottomed here at 405. Was this anyone's call? Mike, were you on this one? I know that you guys were mentioning SMCI while we were talking to Tim there, but I can't remember exactly what you guys were saying here. SMCI looks like this did bottom here at 407.
Yeah, at about just after 10 o'clock, I was talking that it looked like it was trying to find a bottom. And, it's getting the warning not to catch a falling knife. And I was just kind of putting it out there because we had some of these bottom wicks starting to appear. And that was indicating to me that it was trying to find a bottom. We did get lower print after that. And then, we, down to 407.52. And then we started turning around. So now we're trying to go back up to VWAP. MACD's looking like it's starting to curl. I'm not thinking that this is the bottom yet. I need to see if we capture VWAP. That would be a better indication for me, but I still think 370 is on the table here.
SMCI actually kind of looks like it's rolling over here.
Hey, great call on LASC. That just had a nice pop over 430, got as high as 432. This might halt.
Looks like they pulled it off the high here, so I don't think it's at halt risk now, but the next pop, maybe it can.
Okay, it's just that I'm not seeing any price action, so I was just kind of wondering if that's what's happening.
I don't know. It is not halted. I don't have it halted here.
There we go. Now it moved.
Meta, maybe this is turning around here. Jessica Tiramisu. That is a handle right there. Maybe Meta does turn around here. Not one that I'm trading. Jay, I know you trade that one kind of often. BSLK, Jonathan mentioning that this hit the 334 spot. Do we get another trade here? Do we reload this 334? That is exactly your low print of the day here, Lion.
Got the crude report.
What's that?
We've got the crude report coming out right now.
Okay.
Crude inventories and gasoline inventories.
I have the USA gasoline inventories draw of 2.203 million versus a draw of 1.6 million estimate. The prior read was 1.6, so it looks like a little heavy on that draw. Crude oil inventories, a draw of 0.846 million versus a draw of 2.7 million estimated. Previous was 4.64 million.
U.S. Labor Department acknowledges mishap in release of jobs data. Technical glitch delayed payroll revisions report. DOL says, that's Department of Labor, says BLS to put, I believe that's what DOL is, to put new safeguards in place to ensure equal access. Maybe it isn't what DOL is, but that's what I thought it would be. Because we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Yeah, it says BLS to put new safeguards in place.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
NVIDIA earnings anticipation is buffering the down move. No, I think this is, because that 1-2 punch with the short report and then the 10-day filing delay.
And the thing is about the delay there. I mean, the short report's talking about them cooking their books, and then they delay a report where they're going to release information publicly. I mean,
it just looks
sounds like
so
really
bad.
timing. Yeah, exactly.
Looks so bad. And, oh, hey Ryan, that reminds me about things looking bad. Did you happen to catch that article I sent you regarding that Boeing employee?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This is exactly what you've been talking about, frankly.
That was quite nice to see, because all the suspicions I had about how bad this whole Starliner problem is getting confirmed by that interview. So that was a pretty big deal. Now we just need to wait and see if they are going to keep on going through with this program, or if they may end up abandoning it. That'd be Boeing, because if they abandon it, then that's basically them kind of giving up on having a space vehicle alternative to SpaceX to take NASA astronauts to the ISS and others.
Neon here going higher. Brian, good call here on Neon. We had a nice little impulse move, pull back to VWAP, giving you entry here, and now higher. And man, if you had hit that, even if you had kind of got that a little bit later here, so you're almost a full point above that. And it looks like Jonathan Cooper might be doing a money dance here. Oh, okay, we did actually set a new low on BSLK, 1 cent under the low that he called, but it is bouncing here. So we'll see if we continue on BLSK or BSLK, excuse me. I knew I was going to screw that up one of these times.
Born and Fairchild, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. This Boeing is a money-losing machine at this point, and the only reason why they are still a company at all is because the U.S. government deems it so. They have a lot of defense contracts, a lot of defense technology that is vital to the U.S. Department of Defense. So they are going to still exist because of that. But yes, some restructuring would be absolutely fine. And you know what? They're already undergoing that. They just brought on a new CEO. Now we need to see several quarters of that CEO's effect taking place, and then we'll be able to decide where it's going to go and how we want to trade it or own it.
Jay Wild mentioning WTO getting wrecked here. Indeed, is there news on that? Motion calling serve continuing to move here. I know that you shouted this out earlier, I believe during the interview, when it's really rocketed here. Motion, really good call here. Looks like we're getting some more extension here. See if we take out some of these highs right around 1025. Got 1030, has a little bit of size on the ladder here on serve. That makes me want to check in on ticker RR. Those moved before. Okay, so no sympathy movement here today. Serve clearly doing its thing on its own.
I could see serve getting as high as 12. I'm not saying it's going to go there today, but I could see if it trades up today with some more volume, I could see it getting to 12. Vox actually trying to. We're actually both. Even Market Sniper is looking at it. We're all looking at it. Touch the VWAP. Yep.
So do we think it goes through the VWAP here, or do we think it gets rejected? You know what? We'll try some. I'll try a starter here. See if we can move through.
There you go. It's moving through it.
Yeah, let's see if we take 5 and go higher here. I've got the high print here, 510. 5 looks like it might be up here. This is just a smarter, so just a smarter. Jeez, Ryan, come on. This is just a starter, so we're still kind of small here.
Just need to see that volume expand. It could take out 509.
And with it just recapturing the VWAP here, that's definitely possible. They're hitting 495 here. We'll see what happens at 5 if it gets there. Chris mentioning Apple.
You know what?
Apple set a new high and then knifed. So there's your high a day break. Not all that great. JDBI, or am I screwing it up? JBDI? I knew that was going to happen.
Apple, the only one green today of the Mag 7, and it may not be green for long.
JBDI through its VWAP here. That's a little bit more spread. Thinking about it, took Vox based on the book value being in the 13 handle. Vox about to take out the VWAP here.
So SMCI with a little bounce off that 407.52, still kind of leaking now, approaching that little bottom area we have. Still could turn around and get back up to VWAP, but at the moment it is not looking too great. Gosh, Apple, this thing looks like it wants to double top as well, and it has a gap fill coming up as well. That gap fill starts at 231.46 and fills at 232.33. Okay. Tiny gap fill, but it's there.
Jay's Life, you think Chewy has some more room here to 33 post this earnings print? Did we broke out from this sideways area, didn't we? Let's see. 20, yeah, it was 28. Yeah, we certainly did. Actually, we retested VWAP at that same level and went higher here. So I think you might be right here, Jay. 33. I've got what? Maybe this would be some resistance on the way up there. 30 and a half. I don't really see anything at 33. I'd have to look on a bigger chart there, but that looks good to me.
30 is okay. So this is interesting because on July 1st, this is about where the high was. This is actually where the high was, $30, and that's what we hit in Chewy today. It's $30, right? I think that was the high.
Let me go. Sorry, I took it off my screen here. I don't think we've printed 30s yet. No, we have not yet printed it. But we're close. I mean, we're only 30.
I'm sorry, $29.99. I'm sorry.
No, okay. Well, we're 29 cents away from that. We're 24 cents. We haven't hit it yet.
Well, I mean, that's the high print I have in this current 5-minute candle was $29.99.
Oh, do you really? Okay, I don't have that here. Interesting.
But when I look at the daily chart,
no, I do too. Sorry.
Yeah, when I look at the daily chart, that's the high right there from July 1st.
High 29.99.
Now we look at June 26th. That high was 30.63. The only other day where we had anything higher than that was that crazy, I believe that was the meme trade when Roaring Kitty pushed it up to 39.10. But this is interesting because it looks like it's trying to break over 30. Like it wants to get over that. So we'll see if that's what happens to that one.
Jay saying, Chewy, those three guys who came on with Z all liked it 24.25. Well, good day for them then. That is for sure.
And I need to switch time frames here. Looks like BLSK is trying to turn around.
BSLK?
Did I say it?
BLSK, yeah.
At BSLK.
I'll tell you what, though, Jonathan, monster call on that bottom. You missed it by literally 1 penny. We'll give that one to you. That was a really good call here. See if we lose on this VRAX trade or if we end up moving back up here. Higher lows, not breaking down. We'll take it.
VRAX trying to get back to VWAP, almost there.
Sure is.
GLBX down. Box tried to recapture its VWAP. It got above it and then it pulled. Now it's beneath it again.
ASST trying to bounce here. If this takes 290, this might be able to go. It's holding VWAP so far. 274 is your VWAP there.
Take a look at the broader market. It feels like things are slowing down.
Yeah, SPY's kind of consolidating here, but consolidating lower.
Wow, that is just that is a porcupine of an opening we've had here in SPY.
A lot of top wicks there, a lot of little spikes, huh?
Wicks in both directions. And all the real bodies are between 560 and 561, it seems. Oh, hey, yeah, JPM, all-time highs.
ASST did take out that 290 here. Let's see if this can go back towards the highs. 3 would be your next spot. Day high there, 315. JBDI getting lots of calls here.
Oh, dear God.
That is continuing to trade up here. This is the IPO from yesterday.
I need to extend this line because I think we might be hitting the top of JPM here.
You
want to take a look at JPM and draw some trend lines?
Yeah, here. Let me bring it up on the bigger chart here. I'll leave JB. Let me get this here for you. Okay, what are we seeing here, 13?
You could decide how far back you want to draw this, but let's just make this simple, and we'll start with the highs from January of 2020, or maybe hold on. No, the highs from January 2020. So that'd be like basically January 2nd.
Yep.
Draw that up through the highs from March 2021, and just keep going to today.
You're looking at just about right here.
So we might be getting pretty close to hitting the top there in JPM if this trend line is going to do its job. Now, interestingly, you could also draw one on the bottom here, and we have a bit of a broadening wedge, a rising broadening wedge, which would imply that there's going to be some downside ahead at some point.
So are you looking at like this?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like this? Just trying to eyeball it here on JPM.
So I'd be curious to see, because this is kind of similar to setup to what similar pattern to what Kava was doing. So once we hit this top end of the wedge here, we could see some selling pressure.
Okay.
Something to watch for.
There you go. There's your JPM chart. Let's go back to VRAX here. Not breaking down yet. Let's see if we can move through 5 here on VRAX.
SMCI just kind of consolidating here. Hasn't really been able to stay above 420 for too long.
ASST kept going, by the way. Sorry, 13. Let me go to SMCI.
Yeah, so still trying to get back above 425. I think 425 is it looks like that's the big level, because it did try to recapture that and it got rejected and it led to more downside. So 425 seems to be the big level to get over and close over. BRKB all-time highs. I'm liking that. I actually cut out my position last week, so may end up getting out of that completely pretty soon here, probably maybe September or October, but it's very extended too. Very, very extended.
SMCI really just kind of holding lower here. All right. Anyone else have any other setups that you're looking at for trades here? We've got about 7 minutes left before Zunaid hops on and does the all access here, but we're going to run it right up to the very end.
Look at
ASST continuing to go here. My gosh, I should have taken some of that. I should have just taken a stab at that.
Look at GDC. This was getting mentioned by our chat yesterday, I believe.
Brian, good job on the green day. That will earn you a register ring and a 1-up. Good stuff. If you're done here for the day, really good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow.
It was a great bottoming call by I forget who it was, but hey, BSLK. That's still recovering, trying to recapture that 200 EMA on the 5-minute, the one we got support from earlier.
That was Jonathan Cooper, I believe. Jonathan,
Great.
I think you called that bottom marvelously.
Great call. VRAX trying to recapture VWAP, not having a great time doing that.
Vox breaking down here. Might have to close this one. This is just a starter, so we'll be okay. See if it comes down to this support level here.
Just going to try to get an idea of the top here in JP Morgan. This could probably get up to 225, and that might be the top. I'm not going to, I don't want to say any guarantee or anything, but 225 seems like that could be where the selling starts.
Guys, ASST, this moved through 290. It moved through those highs. This is absolutely a sell area right here, just like it was on BSLK when we curled back up. If you're in this trade, this is a trim zone. Now, you guys just killing it today. I mean, these are my favorite days when they start off like this and there's just tons of stuff and everyone's all over it and everyone's hitting it. These are my favorite days. And just think, we have NVIDIA and CRM and CrowdStrike tonight. So like, this is just like the appetizer. Yeah. CRM. What?
You're scaring me.
I'm scaring you. I'm sorry, dude.
Tesla. So this one, yeah, this is kind of along the lines of what I've been talking about, where we're going to probably see some more downside to the 200-day SMA, which is still at the 203, right around there. Didn't quite get down there yesterday, like I was alluding to, but it seems like we still have a good chance that it could be today. This is, you could draw a trend line from the high on July 11th through the peak on August 20th and see that that's the trend line we have to get over. There's also another trend line that goes back even further into 2023 that it's getting pretty close to having to break out of both of those. Maybe that
seems like it's a trend line kind of day for 13.
It is a bit of a trend line kind of day. So Tesla, maybe it gets down to 200, 203, and then finds a bottom and comes back, but I'll have to wait and see.
Netflix at the lows, Apple reversed. Chris Foreman, you were on this one earlier. Apple reversed pretty hard off that. 229 down here to 229.86, almost 230 down here to 228.5.
Yep, and Apple may be joining the rest of the Mag 7 in the red soon. SMCI still not able to recapture 425. I think as soon as we might be leaking here and may break 407.52 to the downside.
Another leg lower here.
I think so.
Webcoin mentioning BOF is basing. We'll see if it recaptures VWAP there. Chewy off those $30 highs, by the way, might set up to take that out. Lion Atlas, you saying short CrowdStrike? Are you short for the print? Is that what you're looking at doing?
Let's take a look at CrowdStrike here. Oh man, another one that has an imminent death cross. Maybe maybe the earnings are good and it blasts off to 300. I don't think this goes any higher than 300 if the earnings are good. That would be my guess.
Good morning, Tuna. We did miss you today. Amanda's correct about that. But we still had the chat making monster calls here today.
Yeah, the chat's been on fire today.
Yeah, just absolutely on fire. I'm not even pissed about not getting filled on Chewy. I think I'm probably dead here on Vox, though.
It's probably good that you didn't come over here until now, Smoke Tuna, because you might be fried tuna with how hot the chat's been.
Fried tuna? What did you say?
Seriously,
Yes.
Get off the show. Just get out. Come on.
What?
I don't think he appreciates that joke.
I mean, all right, Sinead. Let's try and be serious here. What do you got coming up for us?
We've got my man Justin from Game. It's going to be a fun conversation. Who doesn't love talking about esports? They have a lot of things going on, a lot of partnerships and things like that. So we'll dive into that here in just a moment. But what are your final thoughts before we politely ask you to leave?
Yeah, I like what you did there. Okay, so my final thoughts here, obviously, it was kind of what the right on the opening there. NVIDIA, right? What is NVIDIA going to do? How's the market going to react? Is it going to affect the Fed decision? Everything leading up to today's SPY ripping to the downside here, Qs as well. Everything really kind of leading up to the NVIDIA print. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching. No position yet, likely to close this box trade for a small loss in the starter.
13, how you playing NVIDIA, man? You going long, short? What's the deal here?
Oh, no, I'm not going to be holding that stock. I have that in ETFs, and that's about where that's going to be for me. I'm perfectly happy with having somebody else manage that.
Speaking of which, we will have an interview. So we'll have the NVIDIA earnings stream happening later on today. We'll get in the chat to you here momentarily, but we also have an interview on how you can possibly utilize a specific ETF to get some leverage if you want to go long on that side as well. So plenty of nuggets to look forward to later on today. But Ryan 13, appreciate you guys. We will see you later.
Take care.
Take care. See you tomorrow.
Before I I go ahead and get things going. All right, chat. So here's what's coming up on the agenda, right? We're going to go ahead and have my interview with Justin from GameSquare. Then we will go ahead and have Ben and his crew coming on from Story Trading to give you more insights and analysis on you can attack this market. So without any further delay, let me go ahead and bring on Justin, the CEO of GameSquare, ticker GAME. All Access starts right now. Justin, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I always love the opportunity to talk gaming, esports. I've got some background in that aspect of it, so excited to chop it up here. But before we kind of get into the nitty gritty, give us a quick idea of what is it that GameSquare does.
Yeah, absolutely. So GameSquare is an end-to-end sort of next generation media company connecting game publishers and tier one brands with the huge and growing gaming and esports communities.
And in speaking of which, you had one of the biggest ones in FaZe Clan, ticker FAZE, which I believe you recently acquired as well. Give me some insights on why that partnership there.
Yeah, for sure. Funnily enough, I was actually the CFO at FaZe Clan in a previous life, so I understand the asset really well. So definitely a full circle moment for me. We acquired FaZe earlier in the year. Very exciting. FaZe was trading publicly north of $1 billion at one point in the last sort of 18, 24 months. So we were able to acquire that for $14 million all stock. That brand is really, really strong and powerful. And we've been on an aggressive path to pull a lot of cost out, reignite the brand, and now really monetize and grow it. So we see a lot of upside there.
Yeah, I mean, I see banks kind of still getting the engagement, and of course, everyone else in terms of, whether it's on Kick, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, a lot of content, a lot of engagement being created there. So I'm familiar with the story. You went ahead and reported earnings the other week. I believe the biggest takeaway, like you mentioned, was the big cost cut, which is driving, in my opinion, the Q4 adjusted EBITDA profitability aspect of it. You also have $100 million in annual rev that you've guided as well. What are some other highlights that you think folks can kind of look forward to, especially when it comes to getting cash flow positive without having a raise?
Yeah, for sure. And look, that's key. And we know that's key, right? We are on a ruthless pursuit of profitability, and we think we're on the right path. Obviously, the acquisition of FaZe was really a growth story. We knew it had set us back a little bit in terms of immediate profitability, but I think we've done a really good job. We pulled out around annualized costs of around $18 million. We've still got a ways to go, but we improved into Q2 our adjusted EBITDA by $2.5 million. We expect the same again, if not greater improvement, and that we think will largely come from definitely continued cost improvement, but a lot from our margin expansion. We see a lot of growth in our agency business and our owned and operated IP business, and they are the areas that yield a lot more margin. So that's certainly something to look for. From a top line revenue perspective, we're really well on the way. We talked about hitting 100 million in revenue pro forma, where we're north of 50 million through the first half of the year. Normally seasonality kind of reflects 40-60 in terms of front half, back half. So we expect a really strong back half of the year, which is going to help us get to sort of that really key profitability by end of year.
When you have an acquisition like you did with FaZe Clan, I think you got to go ahead and start things off with a bang. And what better way to do that than your recent deal with the NFL, aka Mr. Jerry Jones of the Cowboys being the largest shareholder. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, really excited about this one. We've really bolstered our live events business. We brought on Paul Aokum as our head of events. Paul was previously ran the Netflix as a Joke Festival, Adult Swim Festival. He's got a great background, understands the gaming space, worked closely on experience with 100 Thieves and others. So he's come in, he helped us run Ninja's New Year's end of last year, which was hugely successful. The Epic Games Creator Roadshow, another big win. And we've just recently announced what we're really excited about is this program with the NFL, NFL for the fans. And, I would think sort of Pat McAfee College Game Day, meets the NFL with some of the biggest streamers in the world. So we're really excited about that one kicking off, funnily enough, Thanksgiving in Dallas. So obviously shout out to the Cowboys and our biggest investors there. But yeah, we're really excited about this one.
And then I'm going to take that and kind of continue to the growth that you've had. By the way, I saw you mentioned 100 Thieves. I saw Banks, which no one really expected him to beat.
Yeah.
The CEO of 100 Thieves. I'm blanking on his name, or Nate Shot,
Nate
excuse
Shot.
me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he finally did.
Nate's
That was a big event.
Former pro. So
yeah.
Banks is a closet gamer. You know, he hasn't sort of picked up a controller in a while. I don't think many people thought he was gonna win that, but that was a really cool event. A great land that we're able to run with Optic and 100 Thieves and really bring the community together. So we're in talks with those guys around doing more together. And I think, some really exciting stuff.
Optic, another great brand out of Dallas. I'm sure you guys have plenty of things going on there. Let's talk about, you had the Esports World Cup that's going on. I believe it just may have finished in Dubai. So that's been a great event in itself for the establishment of esports, taking it to the next level. You also had FaZe Clan that won a $2 million prize. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, really exciting. 60 million in prize money at the Esports World Cup, which is crazy. So, when you hear about people talking about esports winters, we certainly don't agree with that. The prize pools are getting bigger, the audience numbers are growing. We were really excited. We had 4 top 10 finishers and actually finished 6th in the end in the club championship. We were really, really close there with PUBG, went into the last round on top and ended up finishing 3rd. The guys played really well and really impressive. So we're very close to finishing 3rd on the club championship tally, which I think would have been an extra $1 million of prize money. So crazy numbers, but to take home $2 million in prize money, the biggest haul ever for FaZe, that'll go into our Q3 numbers, which is a big tick when you add in sort of the growth of our technology business and our agency business. So extremely excited. Looking at other ways that we can continue to grow our presence in the Middle East and really get involved next year in year 2 with the Esports World Cup. And that's something that we think will continue to grow and yield a lot of opportunity for us.
I mean, they had a star-studded lineup as well, right? You had MBS, the Prince, in the front line as well. You had Cristiano Ronaldo in the front. So they really pull out all the stops. We've seen them invest in different aspects, whether it's golf, whether it's esports, and other aspects of the world as well. Before I let you go, Justin, any other thoughts, any other comments that I didn't get a chance to bring up topic-wise? The floor is yours to talk to our viewers.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. Look, I think for us, it really is just this path to profitability. And I think we've clearly shown that, right? Our Q2 results showed really great top line growth, but importantly, continued cost improvement and real discipline around the business. So catalyst sort of in the back half of the year is to continue to expect to see improvement on cost. But what's really going to move the needle is growth in our agency business, our owned and operated IP business. We had a recent announcement around our agency business, around $3 million of new revenue wins with Top Golf, Dairy Max, 5 Hour Energy. There's a number of others to look for there. I'd continue to look for some big wins on the FaZe front. Certainly FaZe Esports, but also FaZe Media. You mentioned before, Banks back creating content and the guys really getting a lot of viewership. We've actually tripled our viewership in the last 3 months. So the brand's really hot and expect that to really resonate through large, 7-figure, longer-term deals with tier 1 brands. So they're really the catalysts to look for in the back half of the year. And, we're really aggressively pursuing that path to profitability.
We're well into that phase where it's a creator's economy, right? We've been saying that, and I still think we're in the early innings. You have folks like Drewski, Kai, Banks, everyone else getting these deals. I mean, there was also a rumor, maybe it'll come true, about how Kevin Hart wants Kai to play him in a movie here and there. So like, these are the opportunities that content creators are getting to take their audience and come to the mainstream, because these eyeballs from your fans will be tuned in versus the Brad Pitts that we're so used to seeing, right? So there's a pivot happening, and I think we're still in the early innings as well. So excited to see where we go. I'll have my people reach out to your people, see if I can be involved in some of the stuff. But man, this is exciting. I'm happy for the acquisition. Congrats again with the deal with the NFL in terms of the Cowboys and the Saudi Arabia prize pool of $2 million as well, Justin. Looking forward to many more milestones for you and the company.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You got it. That is Justin, who is the CEO of GameSquare, ticker GAME. Thank you for watching All Access. The reason we're not going to play the intro is because we have another show coming up. I just didn't know if he was going to play it or not, but that's okay. Ben, give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready to rock, my man. Alrighty. Oh, I see you got a new watch. Maybe it's not new. Maybe it's not new, but maybe you made some money in the markets. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, that's a nice watch I got for my wedding years ago. But anyway, yes, what's going on? I actually like today much more. It's great because we have some volatility back. We got some catalysts back. You know, on our show, the trade ideas we have are very catalyst based. And the last couple of days were just completely dead. There was nothing going on. It was just chop as people were waiting for NVIDIA. And then this morning, you know, we got some SMCI news. We got earnings out of Chewy and Abercrombie and Finch. We have NVIDIA this afternoon. The market's waking up.
Yeah,
I like catalysts. I like catalysts that people anticipate catalysts that just happen. That's how we like to trade. So a lot of exciting things going on today.
All right, well, let me go to bring your teammates up. Give me a thumbs up, Fouls, whenever you're ready. I see one. Godfather, give me a thumbs up just so I know you're ready. There we go. I just never want to bring people up in case they're not ready, and then, you know, it just gets weird. But, all right, the show is yours. I'll be back at 11:30. We've got another interview coming up with Singulate as well. It's all yours. I'll put your charts up as well.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Welcome, guys. Rhett, good to see you. The Godfather, good to see you. So we got like a little, good morning. We got a little more of an exciting day today. Let's just talk about first. I got to talk about what's going on with SMCI, TSSI, and then we'll get into NVIDIA earnings, and then we'll go down our list and see what else is going on. But look at this SMCI. Boy, did we ever dodge a bullet in our community. We were swinging this for a couple months, and somewhere in here, I don't know, Red, if you remember where we put the alert out, but it's somewhere maybe in the $800 range. We had sold SMCI. We changed our mind because initially we had a target of 1,000 plus going into the earnings report and looking for that stock split announcement, but we bailed on it. And I personally had switched everything into TSSI, and these are very related stories. And look at TSSI. It's just freaking exploded. It's a high of day right now, up 5%. So we really dodged a bullet on this, aided with some collaborative due diligence I've been doing with my colleague Money Mark. SMCI yesterday, a short report came out, and then today they delayed their 10K or 10Q, one of those, validating 10K. What's that?
Yeah, 10K. The
10K. So in any case, validating some of those fears. And technically, this thing is just, man, the next support I see is this candle way up here at $357. But, you know, like, I don't know, maybe if it gets there, a play. But like for me, it's all about TSSI. TSSI is actually a competitor of SMCI, and it's $119 million market cap. They work with Dell. So remember, Dell and SMCI got this AI project from Elon Musk. And it turns out that TSSI is a big service provider for Dell, and they're involved in that AI project with Elon Musk. And we were all over this. We're playing this into the earnings report. Let me see if I can see that earnings report. Well, it's not actually listed on the chart, but the earnings report was on August 15th. So we're playing this into the earnings report. August 15th, we put a 4-pillar trade card out there based on our 4 pillars of catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals. And we gave you guys a initial price target of $5. And lo and behold, there we are after just like 2 weeks of trading. We're beyond 5. And right now, my next target on this is about $7.25. It may take a little bit of time to get there. We're in a consolidation area on the chart, but $7.25 all-time high, basically. Looking for an all-time high, $7.25 on TSSI. And then after the next quarter hits, I expect the stock to be a $10 to $15 stock. So amazing seeing this play out, you know, in front of our eyes with SMCI, some doubts about their business. And that's because Dell is taking some of SMCI's business, Dell along with TSSI. So I'll pause right there. Any feedback on that, guys?
Yeah, look, I want to add a couple of things that I thought was significant that Money Mark said on our small cap show last night. Look, SMCI is a $30 billion run rate revenue business, and they have 70% plus of the liquid cooling market. So the Hindenburg report talked about customers not being happy with their execution. That seems to jive with what Money Mark has been getting from his network. If there's any truth to the fact that SMCI wants to work with TSSI in terms of their modular approach to providing direct liquid cooling. That could be absolutely massive for such a tiny company. So I think that's really interesting. All eyes will be on Dell. It's a small part of their business, so it's not enough to move their needle. But look, all the new generation of chips coming out of AMD and NVIDIA will require liquid cooling. This is a higher margin business. So right now the margins are really low in this business across the board. You got EBIT margins at Dell at 6%. You got gross margins that are, in the mid-teens. So any increase in margin and any increase in business could have a material effect on TSSI. So to say that the wind is at their back would be an understatement here.
Yep, and it's my largest position. Haven't sold any shares yet. It bears repeating. I said this on our show for our VIPs this morning. I say it on every show I go on. I think opportunities like this come once every 2 to 3 years. And this reminds me of the time when I rode Air AHR from $2.50 to $25 over 4 months. That became my largest position. It was my first 7-figure profit ever, first and only. So we're going to see if we can repeat that here with TSSI. Again, once every 2 to 3 years, you find the company that's just absolutely exploding at an inflection point. And I think the 20s are possible in TSSI in a couple quarters. So anyway, can't stop talking about that one. Also won't be doing my job. So in any case, we also have NVIDIA earnings tonight. The QQQ goes the way NVIDIA goes. Look, I don't think the AI story is over by any means. But the market just seems, I'm tracking some earnings reports, and look at Foot Locker, they met estimates. A&F, they beat estimates, but they were a little bit light on some margin, apparently, on some margin metrics. So, like, if you don't have a massive beat and raise on all metrics, the market's just going to punish you. And, I think it makes sense to continue to have exposure to some big cap AI names, but I'm not sure about trading it here. What's your perspective on this?
My take is that we're starting to see valuation fatigue in the likes of NVIDIA. The market, I think, has caught up. For the last 3 quarters in a row, they raised guidance by $4 billion. If you look at where the street's at, they're $4 billion above numbers, so they've caught up to NVIDIA. Stocks trading at 30 times EV to sales this year, 20 times EV to sales next year. I think that's full. I think everything is pretty much in for NVIDIA. Could it trade to 150, 160? It's possible. I believe that, the run up into the quarter, sure, some of that was give back or gain back, from the unwind of the carry trade when this thing dipped below 100. But look, we've run 30% plus going into the quarter. Valuations are high. I think the story is pretty well articulated. We've heard from all of their big customers in terms of their CapEx plans. I think it's all in the stock. And what we're seeing in the market right now is that these big cap tech names, because on not just a law of big numbers basis, but on a relative basis, the earnings growth excess to the rest of the market that we've seen from big cap tech, which was really the only game in town, is starting to narrow. So, we're seeing rotation into the large cap value names. Look at things like United Health ticking to new highs. So I think you'll continue to see these large cap tech names be a source of funds. This is where all the gains have been. And, at this time of year, seasonally, again, I don't think the wind is at your back for further gains in big cap tech.
Yeah, and
even if they come through. So if they don't, look out below. But we need another sustained trend in this market to get out of this chop, and I just don't see where it's going to come from, and I'm not convinced that it's going to come from NVIDIA.
Yeah, and I talked about this last night. By the way, Rhett, monitor those. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments, and we'll try to get to you. I see someone had a question about SMCI. Is it worth it to get in 412? I'm staying away from this. One of the scariest or most dangerous catalysts to buy into is accounting fraud. Anytime there's an accusation of accounting fraud, you just want to stay the heck away. That's been my experience. Maybe, as I said, If this thing dives to 357, maybe I'll try a quick trade on that. But I think there's better things to do with your money than trying to find the bottom in SMCI right now. But going back to your comments about, the big cap tech kind of valuation fatigue. Look, I don't know where you are on this. You heard my comments last night, but I think that small caps can potentially do well even through a seasonality downturn the next couple of months. So like, I'm not laying off any of my small cap positions. I got like max position in TSSI. I got a max position in RCAT with Catalyst coming up end of September. And for me, the way I'm playing it, I have a day trading. I usually don't have a day trading allocation, but I have a day trading allocation. I'm going to all cash at the end of each day. And that's how I'm playing the risk, because I want to be balls to the wall on IWMs, the quality small caps at inflection points with Catalyst. I believe with rates dropping, yes, historically, there's some data out there that says that's not good for the market, but I kind of believe that might be more true for the big caps, but it's good for the...
Yeah, I completely agree. The valuations are definitely not taxing in small caps. So you need to stick with quality. But again, they're going to be a beneficiary of this ongoing rotation, which is ultimately healthy for the market.
Yep.
But you really need to pick your spots in small caps. It's not a blanket buy. The index, I think, should do well here because it's dominated by regional banks. And you've seen the leadership with the likes of JP Morgan hitting new highs every day. You trickle down and look at the KRE, which is 20% of IWM, and some of the leaders there. US Bank Corp, for example, close to 52-week highs. So I think that's positive. And if IWM continues to perform, money in general will flow to big caps or small caps. But the outperformance will come from individual alpha. And, that's where we come in.
Yeah, I see someone's excited about I mentioned that RCAT pulling back a little bit here, down 8%. They have a potential game-changing catalyst end of September. And we'll see. Look, you've been saying, and I think you're right, that if they get this, I think it's the SSR contract with the U.S. Army end of September, this could be a double-digit stock. It could be worth $10. It's $3 right now. So I expect, and I obviously could be wrong, but I expect an event anticipation run into that report to this high here of 424. So that's my target as people try to buy in anticipation of that win or loss. So I'm playing that. I might take a little bit off the table if we get that. If we get to 420, something like that, I'll take some off the table ahead of that binary, outcome end of September. How are you playing that?
Yeah, look, I maintain the view that $3 is where this thing should be valued without any military contract wins. So I think we've got support at current levels because I do expect they'll get something. I think the AVAV contract win today is a positive for RCAT because it just goes to show that the future in military is autonomous. And look, there's just a dearth of public pure play drone companies. AVAV is the largest, and
you know what? I didn't even realize. That's funny because we covered this on the show this morning, and I didn't even realize what that contract was about. I saw a $900 million government contract, but I'd never heard of this company. I didn't know what they did. That's drones, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's larger drones, though. It's the thing that people think of when they think of drones, right? The things that look like small gliders. So, as opposed to backpack deployable, drones that are akin to the recreational drones that most of us think of, which is sort of where RCAT comes in. So, look, nothing has changed in that story. You're going to get volatility on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, I agree with you. I think this thing starts to trade up in advance anticipation of a military contract, which would be absolutely transformational.
Yeah, and I'll if they get it, I'll buy more. I buy more at if it gaps to 4 or 5, I'll buy more. That's me. But anyway, okay. So we mentioned AVAV. We were discussing this in pre-market. Man, if I had 4 a.m. trading, I would have been all over it. But we had I think it was a 202 target on this, and it far exceeded that 202 target. Went to 211. So now 202 support. That's the way I think about it. It's actually stepped in at 201 for an intraday scalp. Let's see if this can break the trend lines here. and get me an exit there, maybe in the 205 to 206 range. So that's AVAV.
Can I just make a quick comment on SMCI before I forget?
Yeah, go ahead.
Further to that request or that question, the other thing to consider here is that Hindenburg, who put out the short report, does these things with a 1-2 punch. They always save some real gems for a follow-up report that comes out typically a week after the first report. So,
oh, wow.
You know, there's that. I'm not sure that they necessarily knew that they were going to file today to delay the 10K, which is the catalyst for the downdraft today. But nonetheless, I think the real trade opportunity here will come if this thing spikes up in sympathy with NVIDIA. And then I think you want to think about it as a short in anticipation of that follow-on Hindenburg.
I just don't see any support here. Let me see. This is for 357 is what I see, man. Anyway, all right, that's it. Look, TSSI ticking up to the high of the day. This is saving the day, man. I got to say, this has single-handedly wiped out all of my mistakes in the past month and a half. So that's just beautiful. All right, Chewy. Okay, look, we had the early call on this in the pre-market. I ended up making money on this one in at like 26, out at 28.15, but I did not have big size. Ultimately gave it in our chat room a target of 30. It hit 29.99. That's basically the top of this candle right here. You see that? High 30 on July 1st. That's how I came up with that target after we cleared the right here, which was 28.16 and then 30. Those are the two targets. Chewy had a nice report. Really beat on EPS, especially the GAAP EPS number. The non-GAAP EPS number was not as big of a beat, so I just didn't do big size on this. I wish I did, because I got actually hurt on ANF this morning. That was a bad call this morning on ANF on the ER. So I'm licking my chops, trying to claw back to break even, and maybe I'll get there with a little bit of trading I've been doing in ASTS. So, Godfather, you've been the king on trading ASTS, like every tick almost you've been right on. So tell us what you think here. We had a catalyst this morning, stock at 29.91. Is there an opportunity here right now?
Yeah, I think $30 is a bit of a line in the sand. You know, they announced that they're calling their warrants today, which was totally expected. There was you know, a certain number of days trading over 18 that needed to tick. I think it was 20 of 30 days. So they achieved that. Look, this is nothing new. It's been factored into fully diluted share calculations since this thing was through the 1150 strike price. These are warrants that are legacy from the SPAC. So it's all very positive. It's 150 million roughly that comes in from the warrant exercise. And then there's another, I think it's 140 million or so of MNO, which is, you know, mobile network operators, prepayments that come in on successful launch of their first 5 satellites, which is due sometime in early September. So this is, you know, the long-term story here is, I think, one of the best on the market, period. This is effectively American tower all over again. It's cellular towers in space, effectively. It's a 50-50 revenue share between them and their MNO partners, which represent some 3 billion cell phone subscribers around the world. And, you know, with the exception of T-Mobile, which is teamed up with Starlink, virtually every other large carrier in the world is a partner with ASTS, which has the leading technology, which allows cellular, you know, to your existing cell phone, no hardware changes whatsoever. So if you think about, you know, an additional $10 a month or something to subscribe, where you have absolutely no dead zones whatsoever globally, and all those areas of the world where there isn't currently cellular connect. And it's not just, you know, cellular, it's broad. They're able to deliver broadband 5G to handsets. So the numbers get really silly really fast. You know, 500,000 subscribers leads to over 10 billion in revenue. And you're talking about EBITDA margins that could approach, you know, 90, 95%.
So last night, let me just show the community here how we put trade ideas out there. Now, things that are like very fast, rapid, early in the morning, throughout the day, we don't do this. But when there's like a swing idea and we have time to write it out, we do it based on these 4 pillars of catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technical. So just last night, we made ASTS a long position with a time frame of swing to long there, target 39 plus. At the time, last trade was 30.89. But we actually noted that we could get an opportunity to get this from 26.30 to 27.71 if that $30 broke. So we put this in there because especially we said if NVIDIA or now the NVIDIA QQQ coming down, it could impact that, and we could get opportunities from 26.30 to 27.71. What was the low today on ASTS? Let's see. Rhett, 27.61. Look at that. So it hit 27.61, bounced right off, looking beautiful here. So that's how we give you our trade ideas based on the 4 pillars. Rhett, what else is going on? Any questions from the chat there?
Yeah, we have one question. And the other thing I want to mention was we even had a better exit on SMCI. I just went back and looked, and the exit was 908. So we really saved a lot of people in the community.
Whoa. Hold on. I want to see that. What was the exit?
It was 908. You got to go back a little while.
I gotta see this. Hold on.
7-11.
All right. This was a 4-pillar pick, right? So it was SMCI. So. How do we get into the 4-pillar picks there?
It was on 7-11.
Why am I unable to search just the 4-pillar pick room?
Enter.
What's
SMCI.
that?
Just do SMCI and hit enter, and then you got to scroll a little bit. I think it's on like the 2nd or 3rd page. Sorry about that.
What was the date on that?
7-11.
All right, I really got to see this because this really changed my summer, man. I was money out and I put it in TSSI. That was crazy. 7-11.
7-11.
All right, let's see what we said here.
Oh, right here. I sold all my.
Closing all SMCI to reallocate to smaller caps. 1 second.
Another one too.
Sold half SMCI first due to curious news flow of cautious analyst comments plus a conversation I had with a colleague today in the game. Dell is taking their share, but I thought I had a.
There was. You wrote a report on it. I don't know why.
I did write a report on it. I don't know what's that. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. I wrote like an official item on there of the price we're exiting and why we're exiting. I'm not sure what happened to my charts now. Let's get back to our charts. All right. Anyway,
the other question too was the ticker GTEC update sold some at 250. You guys adding here?
I also sold.
Yeah, look, this.
All right, go.
This is a mystery to me. I think it's a situation where the market just simply doesn't believe the numbers. I can't explain it otherwise because from a valuation standpoint, it's just too cheap. So I'm holding some here. I will trade with the market and take some off in the high 2s. But here we're ticking under 2 again. And, I might just add some here because I actually believe the numbers. This is a profitable company with cash flow, with a massive amount of cash and a big collectible coming in the next 12 months. So I don't have any reason to believe that this is, a Chinese shitco, which seems to be the prevailing view.
I found the note it's on my phone. I can't show, but we said on July 26th, we said SMCI idea is now officially closed for a loss. Well, go check the price for me, right? On July 26th, that I'm taking hints from analyst downgrades, price action, and research from Money Mark. TSSI may be the better play on Grok data center because we're playing that. Also, part of the thesis was the Grok AI data center, and it turned out TSSI was part of that. What was the price on July 26th, right? I'm going to race you now. Let's see. July 26th. July 26th. Okay, so this is where we officially closed it at it was around $712. Yeah. So we started getting suspicious sometime before that, but we officially closed it at $712 and then got people to get into TSSI on July 26th at $3, and now we're at $5. Wow, that just feels great. This switch we did out of SMCI to TSSI, very beautiful.
And we also advised them to buy that dip also. So
which dip are you talking about?
On TSSI was at 270 or something that day.
Oh, that morning. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I actually bought some at 270. That was actually right here on August 15th, low of day 271. But I got some at 270. So this data is not 100% correct. I can show you the screenshot. So yeah, we're pounding the table in our chat room. We're like, buy at 270. And this thing's now 522. Oh my gosh, I love it. I wish I kept some day trading shares today. I just got my long-term position now. Look at that, up 6% in a blood red day like today. All right, let's see what else is going on. We covered SMCI, TSSI, Chewy. We covered that. ASTS making a comeback. I'm in day trade position on this. I also doubled my long-term shares today on that dip. Thank you, the Godfather. You finally got me convinced on that. Oops, I bought a couple call options on Apple just like an hour ago. Yeah, that's not working out. Probably have to take a loss on that. Or at this point, it might be so low that maybe I'll just swing it for NVIDIA earnings. I don't know, but that looked like it was a mistake. All right, AVAV, we covered that. What else do we got? BABA. All right. BABA was added as a trade idea as well. Let me just pull that up here into our 4-pillar pick ideas. And you can see here with our 4 pillars again, swing, 85.70 target. I think we could do more. That's why I put plus. Catalyst, new China listing approved for September. Do you know the date on that listing?
Yeah, there's a meeting on September 5th at the Cross Connect committee, which they fully expect they will be approved. And then on September 9th, you will see listing in Shenzhen and Shanghai. So, the basis on
I thought it was already approved. It's not already approved?
No. It's a bit confusing, and I reread this multiple times. My understanding of those are the 2 upcoming key dates. For actual flows into BABA from domestic Chinese. So
I'm just updating this card.
We need to get through September 5th, and then.
There we go. Okay, so I did not know that. Okay.
But I do expect there will be some front running to it.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 important catalyst dates. So new China listing will be approved September 5th. Will likely, actually, let me just change that to likely. Will likely be approved. Okay. Will likely be approved September 5th for September 9th trading. Plus, sentiment, very low sentiment, especially after a PD dump, creates an opportunity as the market will soon get excited about the new listing. Fundamentals extremely cheap with the 10 forward PE. And also, it's kind of unrelated to the issues PDD is having, as far as I can tell. But as a Chinese stock, there's a risk it'll always be cheap. Technicals, we had a perfect bounce off the 20 DMA, but it may have failed today. I'll have to take a look at that. So let's see where we are with BABA. BABA on the daily chart. 20 DMA. It did fail today. So we may have to, we may have to bear some pain here, the Godfather, before we get a, bid back into September 5th and September 9th catalyst date. So far, this trade idea not working out for us right now.
Well, it was never a trade. It was never a day trade idea. It was a swing idea through mid-September and beyond. And, if precedents hold in terms of capital flow, we could see upwards of 20 billion into BABA. We did see a similar type thing happen with Tencent, and there was another Chinese company too, starts with a T. I can't think of the name right now, but nonetheless, this has happened before. So I like it when there's defined downside, and with the multiples as low as they are, with absolutely no AI premium in the stock whatsoever, and they saw an incredible 100% increase in usage of their AI products. They saw the cloud business adjusted EBITDA grow 155%. So, people are focused on the Chinese consumer in the e-commerce business, but if you really dig into it, it's effectively flat. So I don't think that's the story at all.
So getting a big downdraft in all the big caps, it looks like right now, QQQ, Apple, BABA, NVIDIA ahead of earnings. And NVIDIA is going to have to blow it out of the water to turn this around. Otherwise, let's just quickly look at the QQQ
And then we have another question.
I don't know if we have time for that. 1 second. QQQ chart here. Let's go to the daily.
Yeah, we can.
463. We can potentially make a move to 463 tomorrow. RSI is starting to pull down, or even this afternoon if NVIDIA earnings are bad. So definitely some risk there in the market. I just want to mention before Zunaid comes and pulls us off, if you want to join our community, head on over to storytrading.com/Discord or use that QR code. You can just scan at the top of the page there. What was that last question, Rhett?
The last question is going to be the ticker DXYZ.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. That's at SpaceX, right? They own some SpaceX shares, but it's not that material. It's a very small part of the market cap, the shares they have. What's the question about it?
They just said, let me know easy when you add.
Yeah, look, I think from a fundamental perspective, this is not really undervalued. It's really a catalyst play. Like when there's positive news about SpaceX, if you're fast on it, like up here, you have these 3 open green candles up here. This is all when there's positive news on SpaceX, but then it becomes overvalued. The pops are not going to last because it's kind of is a fair value there. DXYZ.
Sweet. Speaking of Z, hello, here I am. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the insights. Good luck to you. If you're playing NVIDIA in the after hours print or before, how are you going to position yourself? I saw you take a day trade here as well. Appreciate y'all for hopping on, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zunaid. We'll see you next time.
You got it, buddy. We'll talk soon. Take care, y'all.
Take care.
And chat. Take care. All right, chat. It's been a jam-packed day. I mean, you've had trading ideas from all of our different guests and content creators, and we've had interviews from publicly traded companies, executives, and we're going to continue that momentum here as well because we've got Shane, who is the CEO of Singulate. Ticker on the Nasdaq is CING. All Access starts right now. Shane, good morning and welcome back.
How you doing, Zunaid? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. You've got someone in the back waving to the dog as well. So you're having a great morning.
He's waiting for his coffee.
Our chat loves talking to you and getting updates from you. But for the folks that might be hearing you for the first time, give us a quick, brief overview of what is it that your company does?
Yeah, so Singulate, we are, we're a biotech / pharmaceutical company. We're a very late stage company. We'll be filing our first new drug application to the FDA for our lead asset within the next year. Basically, what we've done is we've built a drug delivery platform from the ground up that basically is, patent protected through 2035. We just got product-specific patents in Europe. We were getting them around the world to really, again, increase our enterprise value. But, this is what the tablet looks like. It's this small. And inside this tablet is this little tablet. And then the final tablet I drop, if I try to show it to you, it's right there. So we can deliver 2, 3, 4, up to 5 of the same or different medications in one simple-to-take tablet. It's true once-daily dosing, which is a problem across dozens of therapeutic areas. Our lead asset is in ADHD. We have a second asset in ADHD because, as anyone knows, everyone's familiar with Ritalin and Adderall. 2 great drugs. One's an amphetamine, one's a methylphenidate product. At the end of the day, those products, unfortunately, have a lot of flaws. Number one, they have too many mixtures. And what I mean by that is isomers. So too many versions of the same molecule. Only one of them really works. So what we're doing is in our methylphenidate and amphetamine side is taking the best of the best, just the part that works. So what we're looking for is faster onset, better efficacy, better tolerability, all those good things. And that's what we do. We've done. We now deliver 3 specifically timed, ratioed, and styled doses of medication to ADHD patients. Our goal will be to get it in patients 6 and older. And we have proven that this product is the most exceptional product seen in the ADHD category. Our effect size at a minimum is 2 to 3 times greater than products like Vyvanse, Adderall XR, Focalin XR, and Concerta. They made only $180 billion or so over their lifespan and continue to make multiple billions each year, regardless of generics of the same product. So we're really sitting on some really exciting things here, and that's what we do. We're going to go into anxiety, insomnia. We're going to go into bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder. You're not just coming along for our first asset. There's a lot of excitement building up around Singulate.
I mean, look, just take my money now. There was a shortage of Adderall for folks that needed it because folks were using it for other purposes. We obviously saw that theme kind of go into Ozempic as well, where it's supposed to be for diabetes and one thing, people used it for another as well. And you'll always have, actors in that sense as well. Let's go to your quarterly earnings. You recently reported Q2 earnings. You cut your net losses in half from what I saw compared to Q2 of 2023.
Yep.
How did you do that?
Nothing really miraculous. We completed clinical trials. That's really what it comes down to. We did at one point implement some sort of cost containment measures, but the big reason for that was number one, we finished our phase 3 trials. So when you look at Singular, we've already started one small, it's called a food effect study. That's our last study, and this product is already we're preparing our NDA. So the big reason we cut costs is we stopped doing multi-million-dollar clinical trials. So we did phase 3 trials. We had 3 of those completed, finished our BA study. So all of that trial work has been done. In addition to that, our manufacturing work, again, all complete. So all of our registration batches, they're sitting on stability right now. That's our rate limiting factor to getting our product to the FDA. And by the way, they all passed the 12 different parameters with exceptional results and continue to. So the big thing is what we've done is we've accomplished our milestones, and therefore we're not spending money on trials. We're not spending money on manufacturing.
Yeah. You had a patent in the European world for 1301, right? So that's CTX 1301. How big of a milestone in this, and how does it impact the bottom line of the company?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we're now protected for an extended period of time throughout the European market. We also have patents in some other territories around the world. We are prosecuting. The big one is obviously the United States, and we will be getting that based upon all expectations. But what that does is, again, locks up a territory, and the European Union has over 30, countries in it. The UK is still part of the European patent world. So what that allows us to do is, get our product, which they are, in speaking to not only some of the governmental folks in various territories, they're dying for this product. One, because of the shortages, but most importantly, they're seeing their doctors know the same things. These products take too long to start. These products don't last long enough. I need to use boosters. Boosters are abused. They're diverted. They're sold. That's diversion. At the same time, adults aren't taking them. They have problems at home. Can someone please make an ADHD product finally that overcomes these things? Guess what? Yeah. We've proven it. Fastest onset, most exceptional duration. It's called entire active day. That's what we do. And the patents basically show, the unique way we deliver the drug. We could go into it, but I don't want to bore your audience unless, of course, they're on our product, which, of course, because it's not approved yet. But we're getting close.
Well, speaking of which, are you comfortable and able to answer? Are you still on target for the NDA submission in the first half of 2025? What are we looking like in terms of timetable there?
Yeah, so we are, number one, we are. It comes down to our friends at the FDA and whether or not they'll accept 9 months of stability data versus 12 months of stability data. They're going to get 36 months of stability data over time. We hope through conversation, and they've been a great partner to work with and converse with, as they're smart folks, and they see what's going on in the real world, and our product is going to be better than things out there, in our opinion, and what our data shows. So it really depends on that. I'll target publicly, and we've stated this, mid 25.
Yeah,
it's our goal to get it to the FDA as soon as possible, and stability data will be our rate limiting factor.
Well, look, I mean, if you create a movie like Limitless, I'd love to kind of be maybe a background actor or some type of role play in that sense of it. Any
not Bradley Cooper or the guy that did the TV show either, but
just someone who can
true diagnosis of ADHD. We're not going to.
There you go.
Sadly, we're not going to make anyone geniuses, but we will bring you up to your potential.
Look,
I've got by a doctor.
I've got legal prescriptions from college back then. So yes, I am all above board. No issues with the SEC, the FDA, or any other acronym you want to throw at me. Before I let you go though, anything else that you wanted to discuss, anything else you want our viewers to talk about? We've mentioned your quarterly earnings, where you currently are, where you're going in the future as well. But anything else I missed you want to talk about?
I think, look, we're a late stage company. That's the biggest part. And I think anyone that's watched our stock in the last couple of weeks saw a huge run up. I think part of that is obviously due to, number one, the patents. I think secondly, that we're late stage. All phase 3 trials are complete. They were great results. People probably saw Ironshore, which is the maker of a product in ADHD called Jornay PM. This is the product we've talked about before, and I don't ever mean to, I'm not making fun of it. There's a value for it, but this is the one you take at night and kind of pray it starts working at the right time in the morning. Spoiler alert, doesn't. Over $500 million is what it sold for.
Yeah.
And what is our market cap? We are so tremendously undervalued when, we don't even look at that product as a competitor.
Yeah.
Because it's not. The competitors are Adderall, XR, Vyvanse, Focalin, XR, and Concerta. That's the market. That's 92% of the scripts. That's who we beat. So I think they saw that. I think the fact that we're late stage, the data has been great, some very good volume. I think there's just upside for Singular. And obviously from a capitalization perspective, some good things have happened in the last couple of weeks and throughout this week as well.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I appreciate the insights. I appreciate the milestones that you guys have been able to achieve in this space. And I look forward to many more conversations as you go ahead and obtain things in the future as well. Thank you so much for your time, Shane.
It's a great team as always, man.
You take care, pal.
Take care.
That is Shane, who's a chairman and CEO of Singulate. Ticker on the NASDAQ is CING. And we thank you for watching All Access.